two, one, going live, and we are live. Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Talk Power BI. This is a special one. This one is what we call, we actually don't call it that. We call it Dashboard Showcase and Makeover. Well, yeah, the word is somewhere there. Showcase. There we go. Showcase and Makeover. That's what we're here for. And we have quite a few entries today. We have Juan, Ghada, Jared, Jose, Mai, Nabeel, Osama, Robert, and Timothy. I feel like I've spoken to Osama recently, but yeah, all right. So I'm super duper excited. Are you? So hey, if you're joining us live on YouTube, do say hello to me. Let me know where you're watching us from. I love hearing your hellos. It's just, hey, I work out of my bedroom, so this is the connection. This is my connection to the world. Although I stand corrected. The last time, well, once when I mentioned I work out of my bedroom, my one of my students said, "Oh no, Avi, it's not just a bedroom. It's the Learn Power BI worldwide headquarters." So yep, that's from joining you from. Awesome. Andrew says hello here from the UK. It's 4 p.m. over there, not 5 p.m. Oh, yeah. I think there's like a week where the clocks are off, and then you're gonna catch up and switch to 5 p.m. Thank you for that. We'll try to watch out for that. The daylight saving time is a little tricky. So, folks who are students of the Learn Power BI program, sorry the link was broken. If you tried it, please try again. If you would like to join us, actually, let me grab the link. I'll post it here. I do have Greg on the phone. Thank you, Greg, for joining. How are you doing today?
Oh, great. How are you?
Awesome. Terrific. Cool. So let's see. YouTube, my friends. All right. YouTube just notified me that I'm live. So for Learn Power BI students, can join using special paths. Sorry, I have this habit where I speak it loud when I type. Probably not very endearing. All right, who do we have? We have William from Memphis, and friend says hola, hola, my friend. ¿Qué pasa? Jason says Cleveland, Ohio here. Woot woot. And I can't read the name, but I got a hello from Tokyo. Hi there. I have no idea what time it might be. It must be late, but that's great. Good to have you on. Bruno says hello from Belgium. Tony says hi from Toronto. Yay, yay. And what else? Oh, cool. We have more members joining. That's great. So we have Ian and Juan as well. So guys, let's kick this thing off. So let's let me give you a quick intro of the dashboard makeover if you were not familiar. So sorry, dashboard, showcase, and makeover. All right. So let's start with the showcase part. So a lot of you have probably heard me say this line, which I truly believe in. I believe that in this day and age, you cannot just do good work. You gotta do good work, but tell great stories. Guys, that's the truth of the matter. I know. I've been there. I've been in the mode where I was conditioned to, oh yeah, just work hard and it's gonna come. And of course, I come from India and we have all this karma. I was gonna say BS, but it's not BS. There's something there. But just do good stuff and good things will come to you. Well, I'm not so sure. I think this is kind of like a game, and there are rules of the game, and there's a way to play this game. And if you can master that, then you get farther ahead. Now, the challenge that I face in my life is that I don't think schools of this day and age are teaching those rules of life. Really, they're not. Because everything that I learned from school, I tried to apply it at work, and man, I got nowhere. In fact, the fact that I was a outstanding student during my school and college was more of a hindrance than help to me. It held me back because I kept using those same rules or stuff game that I learned, and it's a different game, right? So again, hey, you can choose not to play. That's up to you. But then, of course, you wouldn't get the results as well. So if you're not getting results, if you're struggling, then think about this: that hey, you can't just do good work anymore. You got to do good work, but tell great stories. So this is a platform, my friends, for everybody because I love you all, right? I want you to succeed. So this is my platform to you to start telling your story, showcase your work. Don't just do good work, tell stories about your good work. So we're hoping that this is going to be hopefully the starting point, like an easy way to get started on this. And of course, hey, there's a makeover part two. I mean, once you present it, you get the feedback from, not just me, but, kind of everybody on the forum, folks on the phone, Learn Power BI students, all of that, right? So you get to showcase your work and you get some tips to improve it even further and hopefully start showcasing and telling your story on a lot of other forums, right? So we want you to spread the word. If you've heard me talk about it, my goal is to change 1,000,000 lives. And how am I going to change that? I'm going to change the 1,000. They're going to change, well, each is going to change 1,000 more. And of course, some of you are familiar with our Pro Plus program, and that is our closest group. And that's my vanguard for, getting those 1,000 who impact the other 1,000. Okay, so that was the setup. Let's see. Let's go to. I have the dashboards all lined up here. I was very organized today. I feel proud of myself. And first up, let's talk to Juan, since you're on the phone. So Juan, I wasn't clear. You sent some dashboard, but you said something about I don't want to share it with Microsoft or something. I mean, so the file you sent, is it okay to share it, pull it up on YouTube,
Yeah,
or no? It is.
it is okay, but it's not finished yet. I am struggling with some measures and the data model.
All
So
right, all right.
I just wanted a hand there.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll do the. Oh shoot! What happened here? Enable.
I have the 64 bits Power BI. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I do too. I wouldn't use anything else. I'm not sure. Is my Power BI desktop not updated? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Is it saying? Is it an? I think it's opening, even though it kind of complained. All right, great.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about this project.
Well, this is the real Power BI project. My
Mm-hmm.
client is practicing or practitioner in logistic area.
All right.
So he want to measure the quality of their services. They are distributors, or couriers. Yeah. So
Okay.
he wanted to measure the days between the um, the distribution and the deliver for the client. And there's where I have the problem. I have create a calculate table and
Yeah.
call those both dates,
Mm-hmm.
then make a subtraction to have the difference, but I can relate it with a model. It's like a static measure.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that thread. So great. So folks, um to give you some background, that Juan is part of our Pro Plus program that I mentioned earlier, and we are running what some of you probably heard about, the Real Power BI program, where we bring in business projects and match it up with our Pro Plus members. So great. So I just want to make sure that this data is not sensitive. I can click anywhere, show anything,
Yeah,
go to data view.
it's encrypted. So the client send me a fake or a model
Okay,
data.
okay. Whew. All right, yeah. So it's tricky. Okay, all right, folks. So hey,
Yeah.
so this is not our typical kind of dashboard makeover, but what do you say, folks? We take it on. Anybody who doesn't want us to take this on. So this is a bit of a detour. Normally we do this in the Q&A, but
Yeah.
let's take this on and we'll spend some time on it. See how far we get. If we get stuck in a rabbit hole, then I might, kind of wave the white flag. You two folks, let me know if that's cool with you. You guys, yeah,
It's
we have a
cool. It's
choice.
cool.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
it's cool.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you're gonna love it. Yeah, you're gonna love it. By the way, yeah. So, all right. So, let's look at. So, So I think out loud when I'm looking at these things, and sometimes I'm not able to solve it, but I've been told by all of you loving people that it still helps, even if I fail and flat on my face, that it still helps to be able to see my thinking process, then how do I approach problems. So I'm going to think out loud, but yeah, I mean, I might not be saying something that accurate. All right, we'll see. So first glance, this looks good and not good, which is okay, right? So
I know.
so
I know.
um, so the thing is that full points to Juan for really dialing into the concept of dimension and fact. And dimension, we always say. So, folks, if you've gone through my 1 hour
Look up.
tutorial on YouTube, oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yep, Lobo.
Sorry.
If you've gone through my tutorial or if you're in a Learn Power BI program, then I talk endlessly about this. And I think there was one video where I talked about like the top tips, top 5 things in Power BI or something like that. And I talked about how arranging your relationship view is really important. And one guy commented, like, Avi, seriously? Come on, man. I mean, that's like your top 5 tip. That's the best you got, you know? And I'm like, yeah, it is. I think it's the most important thing. So the first thing that I look at is a relationship view. And for one, I can see already that it's intentionally organized. It's not the default random layout or something like that. This is very intentionally organized. You can see how relationships are kind of flowing here. So, but some of that stuff I'll reorganize a little bit. So dimension, this one is cool, but I'll move these ones uphill too. And because sorry, dimension lookup tables, same thing. Dimension, in fact, it's a little geeky to me. I generally use lookup
Data,
table and fact lookup tables and data tables, but
data table.
since it has the prefix in here, I might trip over. I'm tripping over myself a little bit, but again, guys, so your data or fact tables are like sales, that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that's it. Kind of captures the transaction, and your lookup or dimension tables are the who, what, where, when, how. All right, so now I feel happy, and usually what I do is I keep my lookup tables kind of small, just to remind me that they're supposed to be uh, uh, they're supposed to be squat, where they don't have as many rows as the transaction tables. And transaction table, I keep them visually tall, even if they just have 2 columns. I don't care. I would still kind of make them tall. And in this case, they have enough columns. So all right, so we have that, and so this is one of them is kind of departure, arrival, or something, right? What is this one? What are
Yeah.
these two? Tell me,
Uh,
translate it for me a bit.
Pedidos is like sales,
Okay,
and repartos, fact repartos is like the deliveries.
okay, got it. All right, so um, sales. Okay, all right. So we got this, and and so there's client.
Client,
Province, that's kind of a
time,
location, time. Okay, got
yeah,
it. And what is the last one? Provider,
courier,
courier. Okay,
provider,
okay,
yeah.
okay. So lookup tables, client, time, um, province, location, I guess, and all right.
Yeah.
So yeah. After I think I just reorganize it, but yeah, I mean this is as good as it gets. So folks, again, I look for, does a person have
Thanks.
understanding of kind of the data table and lookup tables, and clearly Juan is he's like spot on there. So yeah, so lookup tables up top, and the next thing that I look for is one to many. One to many relationship. So which looks like one on the. Hold on. So one over here and star over here, and then is it one directional? So that's the default. So that's the default, and not to say that it's always the case. You can have exceptions, but exceptions I'm always going to question it. So of course I noticed one exception, which I'm gonna kind of
Yep.
chalk it up in my head, ask one later if it's relevant. Okay, so we have sales, And we have, oh gosh, what was that? The delivery. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, so now let's look at the table. And let me go to, I'm trying to, okay, so sales, what is the key date column here? I see a few. Which one is, I see two at least. Which one is the one we care about?
Key client, I used like
So I see these two.
key client, and yeah, that's where we need to calculate two dates. One is in that table that is fecha de atención.
Oh wait, but
Oh,
that's blank for a
yeah,
lot of them, it seems.
yeah.
What does that mean?
It's because it haven't been attended.
Oh, okay, got it. So what does this translate to?
I don't know, date of
Like it was processed or something, right? Attended to. Pro-
date of the sale, something like that.
okay, cool. Yeah, we got this. So in here we have fecha atención. Hey, isn't it a good thing that DAX knows no language barriers? It's cool, right? Okay, got it. Okay, and then
Yeah,
let's look at the other one.
and we have like to subtract it with the fact repartos, and
Yeah.
there's a fecha de reparto is in the third column, I think, third or fourth column initially.
Okay, got it. Fecha reparto. Okay.
The, yeah,
That's the one, right? Fecha reparto right here.
yeah, yes, fecha
Got
de
it.
reparto.
Okay. All right, folks.
So
So you two folks, you've probably heard me talk about this stuff, and I say human learning comes before machine learning. Right. So before I can teach Power BI how to do this, man, I need to do this myself, and this is where it becomes a little challenging. So, if you struggle with Power BI, let me give you this piece of advice. And if you choose to accept it, your life is going to get much easier. If you choose to not accept it and laugh it away, then your life is going to continue to be hard. So, your choice. So, the advice is that if you're struggling with Power BI, what I want you to remind yourself is it's not that you are not smart enough. Right, so that's what most people operate from. It's like, oh my god, I need to learn this, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. It's so hard and all that stuff. Actually, the problem is that you are too smart, and Power BI, or specifically DAX, is dumb. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but that is true. So what happens is that often, if you put a problem to a human, we are smart. Guys, right now, I don't think machines have caught up, and someday they will. And I know they can beat us in chess and all that BS, but otherwise, we are way smarter than any machine out there. They can't rival us, right? So, except for these very specific scenarios. I know, AI and all of that stuff. Yep, that's changing. But, overall, this is still the best computer out there. So we're smart, and what machines are not there yet fully, but are getting there, is this intuitiveness, where we intuitively know the answer. You ask me da da da, and I'm like, go, cool, right? So that's the problem here. And the process usually is you have to dumb yourself down, you have to slow yourself down, you have to slow down that intuitive process. Okay, so I just kind of gave you that advice. Hold on to that, and it may or may not apply to this problem. We'll see. Hey, are you joining the Talk Power BI?
No.
What?
Can you let me download something?
No, not right now. Okay, that was my daughter. Well, schools are off, so yeah. No, that's kidding. It's good to have her home. So let's get here. So I'm gonna do this. So folks, I'm gonna pull out a trick, and this is one of my favorite tricks. I love it. Which is, when I'm working on something, man, I love connecting. I love Excel. Who loves Excel over here? Raise your hand. I love Excel, and well, yeah, especially if it's connected to Power BI. yeah, man, pivot tables and all that stuff. It's awesome. So sometimes when I'm debugging stuff, I love connecting Excel to Power BI. So we're gonna do that right now. Or maybe we don't need it. I'll see. So so Juan, help me out.
Yep.
So let's pick out a specific sale, and let's see if it's still filtered. This is filtered, and so this one is 4870410. All right. So, and let's go over here actually, and this is video, which is sales. So I'm expecting this is some kind of an ID. Oh, whoa, what is that? I just wanted to copy one.
Yeah, it's like an ID of sale of a
So,
sale.
got it. So I have that, and then I have this field, which I don't know how to copy just one.
It's the date of the sale, or
Yeah, so I
yeah,
have that, and
clearly.
then is this ID in that other table? Is it there?
Uh,
In
I
factory part
I
codes?
search it. Mm, I look for it, but it's like with another code. You see, ID of delivery. That is ID número de reparto, the first column.
Okay.
So there
Yeah.
are like different IDs. It's like they process the sale and give it to the courier
Yeah.
with another ID for the delivery.
Okay, well
So
then,
I
okay. So I'm gonna just pause you there, right? So guys on YouTube, you see what's happening, right? So there's something that
yeah
Juan probably automatically understands. The client he's working for would definitely automatically understand, but I'm trying to understand on Power BI's behalf, right? So I'm trying to break it down. So it's a different ID. Well, then how
yeah
do I match it?
key client with
Key
a key
client.
client.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
easy. Awesome. So let's find that, and we're gonna say this. So I didn't find it. What does that mean? It wasn't. It
No,
wasn't
but
shipped.
you have selected the ID of the cell. Remember,
Oh, man. Okay.
you have to search in the other table the key client and then search the key client
So
in
key
reparto. See,
client.
yeah.
Okay. I think I see what this is building up to.
Uh-huh.
45594. And let's go here. And key client. Number of filters equals this. Okay, well, so there are 4 rows. How do I know which one I should look at?
If you look to the to another column, is like they have serie número Alvarán. That
This
okay,
guy.
yeah.
Okay.
There are like unique codes. Is from the
Oh, from the
ticket.
other table.
Yeah,
Is
and
numero
both tables.
Algorand has
Uh,
that too?
yeah, but I don't know if it's
47410.
correct to relate it by Alvaran because
Well, so again, I
uh,
mean, human learning has to come before machine learning. So if you don't know, then that would be something you're gonna have to go back to your client and ask, because then we'll be stuck. So here we got this, and numero Algorand is 53. We're still in a slightly problematic state, and I'll tell you why. Because in here, oh, actually no, oh, I'm good. Yep. So 53. So now we are. Oh, 5618453. Okay, got it. So we have that, and then we can find the date for that and subtract the two, right? So far, so good.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, okay, guys. So again, I'm gonna think out loud, and I have no idea where this is gonna go. Um, so generally, we never relate to data tables together. We generally never do that. I wonder if this could be an exception. Let me think about it. One table has sales, the other has pretty much delivery. How would we, and we just need to see how long did it take. Wow. So
I try it, but it sent me an alert that
yeah,
is many to many and etc etc etc.
yeah, yeah. So the first thought that I'm having is so again, so folks, we've talked about modeling, in general, data modeling, and of course I'm a huge fan of that. And one of the key steps in data modeling is what I call decision points. Right. So and so the decision point that I'm looking at this is that should the tables be merged? And I don't know what the answer is, and of course it just kind of depends. But theoretically, it's very possible to have a table which has kind of a sales ID and maybe that kind of the item number. I don't know what that other number is, but so sales ID is kind of 123. Item number is whatever XYZ. Like we have two numbers, and then have kind of the sales information, sales amount, sales date. But then in the same table we can have kind of ship date and even other dates like ship date and delivered date and invoice date and so forth, and you can have other information. So it's not unheard of to have this information in the same table. But how do we know? So what I was looking for is that if these two tables have a lot of common columns, then I would lean towards merging them, which I'm looking through them and it's hard to tell. I mean, they have some common columns, but they have some unique columns as well. So at this point, I'm unsure. So again, if I would have seen very similar column set, then I would have said, oh, let's merge it. So I'm a little hesitant now about merging. So let's explore the other routes. If we don't merge it, I guess we could try to relate them, but
I create a calculate table.
I know, but
Do
you know where that
but
ends, right? I mean, that one is static, and
yeah.
you can't slice and dice it. Yeah. So, folks, generally, calculate table. I used it once in a blue moon, and I've seen people who use it extensively, and they basically do a kind of quite a lot of math and calculation, and I've seen people who are models are littered with calculate tables, but for me they're a dead end because they're not dynamic. Because if somebody clicks on a
Yeah, not
slicer,
dynamic.
it does not
Hmm.
recalculate, and that's not acceptable to me. I want everything to be dynamic. So um, all right. Well, you know what? I, I don't think connecting them is a good idea, but
No.
I oh gosh, how can we say we can do
A
we can do something
variable,
else. We can do
a measure with bar.
uh yeah, some way. So what is the hey guys, help me out on Zoom, YouTube. What is the way to look up value? Maybe it is look up value in the other table without a relationship. So usually, when you have a relationship between two tables, if I did establish a relationship, I would have done related, right? I mean, that's the way to do that. But if you don't
Yes.
have a relationship, you can do lookup value, mm, and that may be worth a try. I'm kind of hesitating because, folks, if you know me, they're like a list of 10 functions that I use all the time, and the rest I use very rarely. Lookup value is one of those rare ones, which is good news for you. So, hey, if I made it this far with just pretty much knowing 10 functions, then there's hope for you. Yeah, and really, even out of those 10, there are just a handful, right? I mean, there's calculate, there's filter, there's all. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And of course, yeah, sum and all that stuff. Um, so okay, let's try it. Let's try it, and we can do it two different ways. What maybe a few different ways. So boy, so let's write down our decision points. So this one decision point we said probably not. Not why? Because the tables look different, right? And folks, once you kind of get to the beyond the beginner level, you start realizing that the answer is often not black or white. The answer it depends, and that's where you go from good to great in Power BI, where you're not able to judge those two choices, but be able to understand that, hey, which one is better in which scenario, and for my scenario, which is the better answer right now. So for this one, I said probably not. Why? Because the tables kind of look different. If they had looked very same, I would have said let's merge it. So now what I'm thinking is that okay, so how do we do it if we don't merge it? So now our options, again, a mini decision point that I can establish a relationship. And I know Juan has struggled with that, but I think that's possible. Relationship, but this is weird because weird. Um, Connecting two data tables is always a little weird. We
Yeah.
could do a kind of a merge in the query editor. That is a lovely solution. I would probably go to that as my default. But the challenge is that I don't have the data source files. So unless Juan hooks me up and I don't know where they're coming from, it'll take too long. So I'll like, hey, send me the files and then all this stuff. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna do that. But we can also, what we can also do is we can decision point right here. Merge in query editor. Problem, I do not have data files right now, right? So obviously Juan doesn't have the problem, but I do. And merge in query editor. What is the other solution? I could do a DAX lookup value, and then what else I could do? DAX lookup value as a column, and DAX lookup value inside a measure. You see decision points, right? So quite a few decision points. Right now, I'm gonna go with this. Why? Because it's easier to understand for me. hopefully, hopefully with you guys too. Measures sometimes get tricky. So this one is doable, and this one actually may even be preferred. I'm not sure. I'll think about that later. But we'll just go with this guy. So I'm gonna go here, and so again we're trying to do lookup value. So let's see if I have my Excel file here. So basically we were saying match sales and client number. So these two are we gonna match with ID numero reporto and K cliente. All right, so folks, lookup value. Let's see. So result column name, search column name, search value, search column name, search value. Okay, got it. Oh lookup value, result, search column name. Okay, I think I can manage this. So modeling, and man, I don't remember the last time I used new column, but here goes. So we're gonna say what was the other date? It was
It's fecha de atención subtract
delivery
to
date.
fecha de reparto. Yeah.
Okay.
If you look the column, the calculate table, I like um, took
Reportos.
all the values I need, so it make maybe it can help you.
Okay, so which is the column we're looking for? We're looking for fecha reparto, right?
Fecha de atención.
This date. That's the one we want,
Okay.
right? Yeah, that's the final result
Yeah,
we want,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Now,
Yes.
and what we did that we matched search column name. So in fact repartos, if we come here, oh, not, I want to do, oh, maybe I should move this to, hold on guys, sorry, I was zoomed in. Okay, let's come back to here. So fact reporters, I want to search the column ID numero reporto, and what do I want to find there? I want to find pedido, this value, and then I want to search fact reportos que cliente, and I want to find there this client. Oh, okay, mate. Here goes nothing. And answer. Ah, shoot! It didn't work. Ooh. I don't know. I feel like I did everything right.
Ken.
ID numero reporto. Let's go in there.
Maybe I think Ken has a solution.
Wait. That I think I got the wrong one. It's not the ID numero reporto. What was the K client and what was the other number? Like the pedidos?
Albarán, número de Albarán, número
Oh
de
yeah.
Albarán.
There we go. Okay, so let's come back here. So this one is pedido needs to match with this one, numero Alvarán. I got it wrong.
Yeah. Both has that column. Both facts. The only similar
Okay, so let's come back
columns.
here and we'll say numero Alvarán. Ooh, fingers crossed time again. Wait, dang it. Still didn't work. So look up value, this value in there. Go look through fact report table. Numero Albarán has to match pedido. Let's see. So pedido is 4870410.
No, but remember that pedido is just in fact
Yeah.
in fact
So
of
I'm saying go search in this table and find this value, right? So I think that's right. So go to fact reporters and look for pedido. So that was. Oh, sorry, man. I'm messing up. Cake. 5614853.
you have to change pedido for número Albarán, I suppose. I think
No.
because
Actually, I
no.
messed up. So we were never searching this number. This number isn't even there. We were searching K client in there. So K client is K client, and oh god. Okay. I messed up. So so K client in this table and numero alb in this table, right? These two we need to find over there, right? K client and numero alb, right?
Well, we need the date only of fact repartos. We need
I know, but what
if
are we
you're going to
matching?
use
Hold on.
yeah.
So we are searching K client and is numero. What's it? I think it's this one. Whew. Got it. All right. So let's validate. So pedido, this one is 44594 and 5618453. Let's actually take a screenshot of this. Oh, God. Okay, got it. So we have this guy and this guy. And then let's go to the other table. This one. And we're gonna look through this just to make sure we have the right one. So in the other table, the repartos, we have K-client is the same one. And oops, do we have oh yeah, Nibru Alvaran is the same one. And if all of that is same, what was the date that we were interested in? Fecha Reparto. Oh, perfect. So Fecha Reparto is right there, and that's 226. So now if you go back to that one, it should be returning 226, which it is, right? Okay, so I think that's it. So
that's it.
Yeah, and
Oh
yeah,
my
and then
God.
so now of course you have your delivery day. Now of course, man, when you do stuff like this, you gotta be careful about stuff that is not returning value. So let's and man, don't do
But is blank? Is there a function with blank or no?
well,
Because I
yeah,
need
but
to make a subtraction.
yeah, so we'll do that. But but you might want to double check some of these blank values to see that they indeed need to be blank. It's not an error condition or something either broken or assumption. So let's actually put this here, right? So this is not a decision point. I'm trying to forget what the term that I use is, but basically, kind of like DAX debug. Like what what do you look for? Like so, the way blank can mean a few things. So blank can mean that one or more of our assumptions are wrong, or we are missing some assumptions which we should make. I'll come back and talk about what that means. One or more assumptions are wrong. That can be the case, or it can be. Well, actually, the first one is taken. Well, it's supposed to be blank. To be blank, right? So legitimate result. That means, well, yeah. I mean, that one is a good legitimate result. So that one is like it's good. It's yeah. So that one is good. But either one of our assumptions could be wrong, or there could be an error in our formula somehow. Something. I mean, it's working, but it's not giving the right result all the time. So for example. Like I don't know the data set. It's possible that in some cases, imagine I match the client and this numero Alvaran, and I try to look it up, but in that delivery table, somehow there are two records. Now again, I don't know if that's possible or not, but our system right now assumes that can never happen. So again, that's an assumption. Models are always built on assumptions. So if that assumption sometimes it is not true, then we're gonna end up in trouble, right? So but we're not gonna go into there. We're gonna assume that that's right. So let's kind of bring it home. So of course you might be tempted to add another calculated column to do A minus B, to do this date minus that date. But generally I would say not to do that, because you can easily do that in a measure. Oh boy, so I'm trying to figure out the two dates you said, fecha atención and the other one. Okay, so what we're gonna do is come in here and we are going to, do you have a formulas place? Let me just create one really quick. I like doing that.
Medidas is downstairs.
Oh, measures. Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Let's use
measures.
that. Yes.
Medidas.
So here, hey, I'm learning some Spanish. Great. Okay, so we're gonna say so this is what would you call it? Like time to deliver,
Uh,
something like that. Days to
calidad,
deliver.
cumplimiento de service accomplishment,
Service
something like
accomplishment.
that.
Okay, I'll just go with
Yeah.
days to deliver for now.
Yeah.
Service accomplishment, and then I'll say so. And then across those different things, let's go with average for now. We'll come back and say so. Average. Actually, you will say average x over fact pedidos. So go over this
Mhm.
and do fact pedidos. Oops, not this. And what was the delivery date minus fact? So fact pedidos. Oop. Pedidos and fetch attention. So this date. And let's see what that looks like.
No, it's the other way. First, fecha de atención minus delivery date.
So, uh, so this one is, so if this is, well, I thought if sales happens on January 1, then delivery will be later. It'll be like January 3rd. Isn't that true?
Ah, okay.
So yeah, I mean
Okay,
that
okay.
in my mind is kind of greater.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's oh boy, time for truth, and let's see. Okay, yeah, that gave us something. Okay, that's not good. I think the problem is the blanks, so we gotta focus that. So what happens is that in our data, when this one is blank, then I mean, blank minus something, it is going crazy. So actually, let me check if the fecha atención, the first date, can that be blank? Where did that go? Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, that can be blank. Ah, okay. So both can be blank. So this one is a little tricky. Maybe oops. So maybe I'll just say if only do this if both of them are non-blank. So if oh, this is, oh god, I can't do it at this level. So average x, this is gonna be a little tricky. So if not is blank this date and not is blank the other date. Alright guys. Oh shoot, it didn't work. Hold on, let me zoom out of that. So average if not is blank this and not is blank that, then factor d is minus this. Oh, not is blank this. We're gonna pretty it up. Okay. Huh, let's try it. What happened? Let me look at the table again.
Avi, remember that is
47.
first
Yeah.
fecha de atención minus
Yeah.
fecha
Well,
of
so
reparto. So there's
yeah, I think so. I don't understand though. If this was sales date and this was some
yeah,
kind of
it's
a
like
delivery
when
date,
they
how can this be earlier than that one? or maybe
Is
I'm not.
the same Alvaran?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that image is from
44494 and
another.
no man, I'm pretty sure. Well, we don't have
See?
that. Um, so this one was let's the first column. The result was, where is the client? Oh yeah, 72682 for the first column. Let's see, what is the first date? The first date is, oh, it's blank. Okay, ignore that. Let's try again. Okay, this is our friend, I think. 4870410. Yeah, that sounds nice. So for this one, the first date is 227. Yeah, so let's actually look at this. Yeah, I mean, this date is often earlier than that. So maybe we misunderstand, or at least I'm misunderstanding. So I think you're right. It should be it should be this minus that, which again, I mean, to me it didn't make sense because I thought this was sales and delivery happens later, but it's
No,
not happening
it's
later.
like it's like the attention or the call of the courier is when the courier calls the that operation, and how and the other date is how long they took to deliver
Okay, so the
that product.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so
So
we
it's
just have to
not
flip it,
basically a sale.
and
It's
it sh
kind of confusing.
oh, oops, I made a mistake. Okay, so now it should be positive, I think 1.38.
Yeah,
Perfect. So we have that, and now
nice.
let's see if we can slice and dice it a few different ways. So we go here, and we're gonna say trend, and oops, didn't want to do that. So we say days to deliver, and let's do it by the courier. So that one was this one, provider, and let me check that table really quick. Oops, this
The
one,
the
the
chauffeur,
chauffeur. Okay, got it. So
chauffeur.
all right, so not that much
Yep.
variation. That's good. Let's add the labels for this one just to see. Ooh, data labels.
Nice, nice, nice.
Data labels. So folks, this is the part where I love about measures, which is once you do it, no matter even if it's a hard problem, it could be really, really hard, but once you solve it, then you're done. Then you can slice and dice in any which way you want. You can like box it and you not have to worry about it. So now we have by dates, by provider, delivery day, so we can see who's the best, who's the worst. We have that information, and now I want to do it by time. So what we're gonna do is remove this one, go to time, and let me look at the table.
It's the ultimate data calendar.
Awesome. Spanish, español, right? And español. Okay, so I'm looking for Miss Año. Nice. So let's try this. I don't know how much. Ooh, that's something. They don't have that much data, it seems.
No, only 2 months.
Yeah, and there's something going on. There's some dates which are not matching up, and that
Yeah.
could be, you can look at that. But um, yeah. So that's a bummer. Nope. Let's go back. Yeah, that something is. I don't know why. Well, it's apparently telling me there's only 1 day's worth of data. I don't understand. Okay, that didn't work. you might have to look into that. Maybe
Okay.
we can try something else. What else do we have? The province. Let's try that. So province, and okay. Oh well, that's a long list. This you might need to group these together. Actually, they do have stuff. So this is like a hierarchy. You might want to split it up, right? So just in the query editor, keep this column, duplicate it, and then split it using the slash,
Slash.
right? So that way you're gonna have, kind of a higher level categories. Okay, so we're gonna call it a day. Wow, that was almost took us to the R. But folks, hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did.
Thank you.
And what we're gonna do is,
Save it, please.
okay, so okay, you know what, we'll keep it private, and I'll send you the link, Juan. All right, folks. So that was a bit of a detour, but hopefully a fun detour for you. Let me know if you liked it. Let's see how the comments are going. Oh, bridge table. Okay, yeah. So bridge table. Yeah, that was an option too. Merged. Yeah. So I think a lot of you had a similar idea. I'll add that one additional table, possibly bridge table. I don't think a bridge table was necessarily needed. Yeah, I think this is not, so bridge table is usually used for many to many, which I don't think this is many to many. This is really a case of composite key, right? So it's yeah, that's what my gut feel is, but could be something there. Um, can we say if the grain is the same we can merge? I think it's a little more than that. I think you're right. If the grain is exactly the same, that generally means that the columns are similar, right? I mean, but I do look for other stuff as well. All right, so using time analysis, want to know how I can create charts using time averages and differences between periods. Abigail, that's a great question. I'm not sure I would make much headway with that without like a file and something. So I would say once every month we do the Q&A version, and you can submit. Where'd it go? You can submit your questions beforehand. I'll just show that to you guys. Is that next week? That might be next week. So if you go in here and if you go to Talk Power BI, and then there's a Talk Power BI Q&A, and this has you can kind of pre-submit your questions. There's a link for YouTube followers. There's a link for students. So students use this, and I'll show you why. Because all the questions end up on a public Trello board. I mean, of course, we're going to put it up on YouTube, so don't send any sensitive information. And if you use the student link, then yours are going to be flagged as students. And of course, I'm going to shower some additional love to you guys. So, so yeah, now, of course, last time was the first time we used this format. I think we discovered that you pretty much have to be on live on the call for your question to be answered. I mean, the folks who weren't there, I mean, we just couldn't get to them, so, but we answered a whole bunch of questions. So, so yeah, so Abigail and others, look for that. Go submit your questions there. And so this one we took a bit of a detour. We're gonna dive again into our dashboard makeover showcase and makeover theme. Thank you for being patient. Can I copy some data files to train Power BI? Joe, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like, I don't know what train Power BI is. Like, do you want to send some data to me? Well, of course you can. When you click on this, then there's an option for you to specify using a file URL, right? So I'll show you an example. Like this person, they had put up their files on OneDrive, so you can use OneDrive, G Drive, Dropbox, D Drive. There's no D Drive, is there? Okay, so yeah, you can send me files that way with your questions as well. Lynn is saying, I've watched your videos, but I could not find the video about how to build a custom calendar. Did you release this or not? Oops, embarrassed. I might have mentioned that in the video. I have never gotten around to it, and I would consider that. So let's Let me make a note somewhere. I don't know. Idea custom calendar. Oh, not calendar. Calendar. All right, guys. All right. So who's ready for the real dashboard makeover? So first of all, a shout out to anybody who is present on the call, either on the phone or on YouTube. If Ghada, Jared, Jose, Mai, Nabeel, Osama, Robert, Timothy, if any of you are present on the YouTube watching me live, or if you're dialed in, if you're a student, then you might be dialed in. Then if you're a student, just speak up and catch my attention. Otherwise, yeah, put it on YouTube. So I know YouTube, there's a bit of a delay, so I'm going to wait for that. Just saying thank you. I mean to train. To train. Can I copy some data files to train Power BI? Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure what you mean. Hey, Jim. All right, so folks, I'll take a quick check on the the chat window. Again, if you are present on the call, then let me know. But let's see. Okay, so let's see which one would be an interesting one. I think. Oh, hold on, guys. You to filter. There we go. Oh boy, Jared. Let's take Jared's dashboard. Venmo transactions. How about that, huh? So let's pick that up. And what is the time? 10:04. And let's I'm gonna take a quick look at the YouTube chat. Okay, so I didn't see. So that's kind of a bummer. Maybe we'll add some language there, saying, hey, it's obviously better if you are present for the call. But let's dive into Jared's dashboard. Oh boy! So there's a Power BI file and some screenshots. So really interesting. So by the way, sometimes guys, I've taken a look at it before, but this one I haven't. So let me just flip through the screenshots really quick. By the way, I should shout out to Jared Fiacco. First of all, thank you everybody who submitted the dashboards. That's what makes this possible. Jared said, hey, I'm a huge fan. And yeah, so you inspired me to make this Power BI dashboard. Takes real Venmo transaction from the public API and visualizes them. Cool. And a few key features that we should look out for are buttons that toggle the page using sections and bookmarks. That's a cool feature. A scrolling feature, super complicated but cool. Uses what if parameter and a measure that is a pseudo column. Python word cloud with colored mask, Python dual axis graphs. So clearly, Jared is well versed in Python. Use Python to download about 3,000 actual transactions from Venmo APIs over a few days. So guys, recently I'm starting to use API for something, and this is the first time I've ever done it. And yeah, it's a bit tricky. I mean, I can get to some data, but if I have thousands and thousands of rows, God forbid, hundreds of thousands of rows, then most APIs like paginate. Like they will give you 20 rows at a time, and that's a problem. And maybe, and I think Jared is echoing that. Like he's saying it took him like over a few days, 3,000 actual transactions. So I don't know what's going on there. All right, so let's, I'm just going to scroll through the screenshots. Wow, so he's shared a lot of information there. It's kind of crazy, folks, how much information is just public. And okay, cool. So and let's see. Did that? Oh, the report is still opening. It's almost there. So what I would say is that this is not in my mind, a typical dashboard. So in my mind, there are a few different ways I think about visualization. One is called an infographic, right? So you've probably seen it. It started popularized by newspaper columnists, and of course, it used to appear in newspapers. But then now, of course, newspapers are pretty much digital. So uh, it's yeah, I mean, you see it online, but you've seen these, right? So these are really nice, beautiful looking, and they kind of tell a story. And some are better than others. Some are actually really horrific and bad, but yeah, they look very different. So there's an infographic, and then there is what I call storytelling. Storytelling is where you're well. If you have seen Hans Rosling, the probably the best data talk ever, that is an example of storytelling. Now, I don't really do any of that. I mean, that's not my key strength. Well, storytelling, I'm getting a little bit into. Infographic, not, yeah, not much. Um, but sometimes people confuse between these elements. So my bread and butter is what I call operational reports. Let's take the example of sales. So something that the sales team would look at daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, something like that, right? So that's my bread and butter. And where people get stuck around dashboard and visualization is that they look at infographics and they like something that they love there, or they look at something in storytelling and they try to use that in operational report just because they think it'll look cool. Don't do that. All right, so cool. So let's come back to this one. So this one is not like my bread and butter operation report. This one is, it seems more like a demo, and which is good, right? So this I'm seeing is Jared kind of showcasing his Power BI skills, maybe showing this to prospective clients that hey, this is what's possible. So there's usually a lot more. It's just structured very differently. So we might not spend a lot of time on this one because again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love seeing kind of operation reports. So this one, obviously, there's a lot of text description. He's trying to guide them. He's trying to show them kind of the bells and whistles, and I'm not sure how much I can contribute to that. Right. So yeah, as you're saying, push my buttons and so forth, and so let's just go through, and again, right? I mean, it's got cool stuff, but again, operation reports, we would never do this kind of stuff. I would never put a phone around that again, right? So we have talked about in the past that it's dashboard by design or dashboard by accident, and one of the elements we've said is that your screen is your real estate, and every pixel you have to pay to use it, and the amount you pay can be different. You pay the least, maybe it's $0 or maybe it's $1 for a white pixel, for nothing, for white space. And that's why white space is one of the most powerful elements in dashboard design. And if you use something intense like red or something, you pay more for that. So be careful. And just like real estate, like downtown, it's a lot more expensive. Same way, the real estate in this area is a lot more expensive. So be careful for that. So we wouldn't, in an operation report, we just this would be just a waste of screen real estate, right? So again, we want the data to be star. Cool. So scroll, lots of cool features. And well, maybe let me look at buttons. So live Venmo dashboard, what does it do? I'm not sure. I'm holding out control and clicking. Let's try this one. Historical Venmo feed. I'm not sure the clicks are working for me well. Sometimes they work better on the web interface. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Historical Venmo feed, live Venmo dashboard, what do you do? Oh, okay, I think it's changing something. Oh, okay. Alright, let's see about the author. Alright, let's see. Historical data transactions. Alright, folks. So, hey, I'll tell you that, yeah, I mean, this is kind of a showcase of kind of examples. Again, Jared, this would be something great to use with the prospective clients. And hey, this is the stuff that's possible. Although, I don't know, I lean towards keeping this simple. So I'm not sure if you need to wow your client by showing them word clouds and such. So again, I'm just gonna speak my mind, right? So it is great. I mean, clearly Jared is very skilled in this, but when I'm talking to client, I don't try to wow them in this manner. So I'll tell you, right? So for me, I don't show them word clouds. I don't talk about that, and I'm not sure what this graph is, but I don't do any of that. In fact, what I do is something really, really simple. And I often say that my first model has just two DAX measures, sum and count rows. That's almost true all the time, right? The first thing that I show them has just sum and count rows. And that's where people get so much stuck about not knowing DAX and not an expert in DAX. I'm like, who cares? Because what I show with them with just sum and count rows, that almost always blows them away. So the difference is that I show simple stuff, but with their data. That's the huge difference, right? So when I'm seeing my own data, my own sales numbers, my own say delivery dates or something like that, man, you don't have to do fancy anything. You just show me that, and most companies, they're living in the dark age, right? I mean, they don't have their data together. All right, cool. So really cool report, but I'm gonna move right on, and let's find something else. All right, folks. So well, Juan, of course you're here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, folks. If you like the Juan's date problem, let me know. Let's see if there are any other comments. Anthony, yay! Welcome aboard. That's so awesome. So I think students have this special pass call thing. You can dial in on the phone as well. We have who do we have hanging out today? We have Jerry. Greg had joined earlier. Ian, Juan, Ken, and Prab are on the phone. So yeah, folks, you can always join the phone. Siddharth is saying, given a scenario, what could be an appropriate or meaningful way to represent positive and negative values against corresponding dates? I'll hold on to that one. Positive, negative values. I'm not against corresponding dates. Table could be a table. Yeah, I don't know. Table, column chart. I like simple. All right, so let's move on. So we did that one, and you guys, let's pick a sales dashboard. Or you know what, Timothy, let's pick Timothy. So sales dashboard. I've done and seen a lot of that, so hopefully this will be something interesting, something different for me. Oops.
Timothy Lawlor, HRKPI dashboard.
Sorry. Okay. I don't know what the keyboard that I press. So this is 10:15. Timothy Lawlor, and we have. Ooh, nice. Oh, what happened there? Okay, hold on. Let me get the files. There we go. And almost there, folks. Bingo. All right. So now we're talking HR KPI dashboard. Okay, now this is good. I mean, this feels like kind of the bread and butter stuff that I'm used to. So let's look at the stuff. First impression, the color. So we have talked about this before, where I'm not sure which color palette this is, but the new color palette, they changed it up. I'm not a huge fan of it, and at least some people had agreed with me there. So yeah, let's look at this one. Oh, actually, where is the color palette? Isn't it here? Switch theme. Yeah, there we go. So let's look at this color palette and data colors. I feel that the default colors are a little bit too much. And again, so folks, we've talked about how you should treat it as screen real estate, and you're paying for every pixel, and the brighter the color, you pay more for it, right? So which basically the lesson that I'm trying to pass on, which I learned from Stephen Few, by the way, is that you use muted colors, a little bit muted colors, because then you can use bright colors to grab their attention. If you use bright colors everywhere, then it's kind of sensory overload, then what are you going to use? An even brighter flashing thing, flashing neon sign to grab their attention? Come on, that's silly. Less is more, right? So muted colors, and they work better. So the color palette, maybe it is the default palette. Let me see if it looks like that. Maybe it is. Yeah, I think it's a default color palette, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I like the classic one. I think the classic one, if you can even notice it here, right? I mean, look at the shades here. I mean, you can just see that it's kind of a muted palette, versus this one is like big and bold. And again, I mean, guys, this is great for demos, and that's what we all get confused with. Like, somebody's demoing something, and of course they want to grab the attention thing, but operational reports are something different. And operational reports have a purpose. They again, dashboard by design or dashboard by accident. It's like, oh, you saw somebody, you used the default palette because it was the default, or somebody used those colors and it looked good in their report, so you used it. No, the purpose of operational reports is to guide the user, kind of take them on a guided tour, and say, hey, you need to focus attention on this. All right, so we'll I wouldn't speak endlessly on that, but the first thing that I'm going to note down is colors. Too bold. Bold, consider not using the default palette. Classic palette. Palette has more muted colors. Okay, so we got that one, more muted colors. So that was the first thing that I saw. Next thing is I'm looking at the layout of the report. And let's just do kind of squint test. Yeah, so sometimes, guys, doing a squint test is good. So just kind of squint your eyes and what can you really still see, or what grabs first your attention. So I think this one is a little bit off because, again, I'm kind of being thrown off by the color, but there's no center of gravity for this report. And that's not good, because then, again, it should be like a guided tour. Like, this thing is the most important, and this next thing is the next important thing, right? So that kind of stuff. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can find. So there is a video on YouTube. So of course I talk about this stuff quite a bit inside my course. But dashboard. Where is it? Oh, create a beautiful Power BI dashboard, where I talk about some of the rules that again, I'm mentioning here, right? So again, if you look at this example. I mean, so this is what I call the power pattern, where I put big bold numbers up top. I love that, and then a little bit of breakdown, trends, and then a little bit of detail, and that's it, right? So that's kind of the pattern that I use. But again, I mean, think of this as a guided tour. So for one, the big this area in a report is the most important. Generally, the top is important, right? Because we scan this way. So again, so this is guiding the user, like this is the important stuff, and then I want them to, kind of, obviously, eye is going to come down and scan this way. I'm not sure, I'll talk about the details in a second. Scan this way and scan this way. And why are they not scanning, or I hope they're not scanning this way? Why are not they ending up here? Why is that? And that is where white space is your best friend, right? So white space is your best friend. People kind of get aggressive with background colors and this, that. So if you notice, what I've tried to do, and maybe I can do better, is that I've tried to minimize the white space here, but I've tried to maximize the space here. I have to try to leave a more white space here. So again, that helps you with a guided tour. So visually, in the mind, the brain would notice that there is something off, right? I mean, these things are offset, and of course they look different, which helps as well, right? So, but again, with the white space, what I'm trying to guide the user into is, again, I don't want them to scan this way and then go the all way. If I hadn't removed the white space, then they might have done that, but my hope is that they're going to scan this and then scan this and then come down, right? So the white space is going to act as a barrier, a break, and then last they're going to look at this, which is my exact intention. If you look at this one, it's a little weird. Again, this apparently are the most important numbers, but they don't show up that way. They're not being showcased that way. Why? Because we don't scan top to bottom. we don't. Why we don't scan that way? Because most people scan the way they read a book. And we're so used to that, it's hardwired in our brain. The only exception you would find are languages which read backwards. So folks, Arabic or something, if you grew up reading Arabic, then you wouldn't scan, what is it, kind of left to right, you would scan, since Arabic reads right to left, you would scan going this way, right? So that's the only exception. Otherwise, so again, our brain, our eyes, we don't scan this way. So this is extremely unnatural. In fact, it's making me feel really queasy. Okay, right? So so I'll say the squint test. Yeah. So do the squint test. Like if you squint your eyes, like what is the main focus? And it's like main focus is not clear. And then I'll say it's not layout is not guiding the user. Again, dashboard by design or dashboard by accident or dashboard by design. And of course, the way you get to dashboard by design is to understand a little bit of the visualization principles, which again, I mean, nobody until I stumbled onto Stephen Few, I didn't even know that something like I need to study something like that, right? And so it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know, that kind of stuff. But once you know what you don't know, then you can go learn it, right? So it's easy, it's not hard. So all right, so again, this is the most important real estate, and generally the top is the most important, and you want your data to be the star. So again, you're paying for every pixel, and you're paying a lot more for pixels in this corner, which is the most important, because we scan this way, we start scanning this way, and the top is the most important because again, we scan this way, right? So and slicers are not data. Slicers are helpful, but they're not data. They're not the star of this performance. They're not the protagonist. All right. So we want Luke Skywalker to be kind of up top. So we want to see him, Darth Vader maybe, right? So the main characters. So I would say this is not a good position for slicers. So again, generally, since this side is more important, this side top and so forth. So my favorite place for slicers is the least important slots. That's where I like to put my slicers. So I would think that if these numbers, they were put like this and the slicer was moved here, that would work much better from visualization side. All right, is there anything else there? Cool. So let's see. So layout not guiding the user. Numbers top down is unnatural. What is my suggestion? Move numbers at top. Move slicers to right. Least important stop. A least important spot. Right. So okay, cool. Let's see if there's anything else there. So I'm looking at the graphs. Days active. So HR. Okay. I had forgotten that this is HR data. Okay, so key numbers over here, current active to date, 1 year term, 1 year average HC. The only thing that I would possibly consider adding here is some indication that is this good or is it bad, right? So you're showing me the numbers, but is it good or is it bad? And of course, if you're showing it like in this format, then the best you can do is I think color the font. So and folks, you should never color things green or put a green light next to it. It doesn't help for an operational report to say, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good. You're overloading them. People don't really want to know what's good and fine. They want to know what needs my attention. So if it's green, if it's good, you don't need to color it green, right? So you can just leave it gray, and that's it's like fine, right? That doesn't need your attention. But if something is red, like if 1 year retention is low, it needs to be 70%, then you would just color this one red, or put a red dot next to it if your visual allows, which I don't think Power BI does. Stephen Few has examples in his book. So I'll say maybe the top numbers, can they have some indication that if things are good or bad. Mostly on the bad side. I mean, again, good, right? So that could be a little bit, and then so we have the top level numbers, and boy, I'm really struggling with this percentage breakdown. I'm gonna come back to that. These percentage breakdown things are hard to process. There's a lot packed in there. So there are some attributes which we can process what's called pre-attentively. And the easiest way to explain that is that it's almost processed even before it hits our brain, right? That's how fast it is. That's a pre-attentive processing. It's like we automatically know it. And the length of the bar is 1. So in this one, oh man, I'm kind of struggling with this a little bit. I feel yeah, simple is good. So so HR current active to date. Let me hold my judgment on this one. Come back to it. But yeah, I feel like this feels a little off. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, yeah, it's not like guiding the user enough, I feel. So generally, oh, okay. You know, I think one place where things can be improved is yeah, the color is being used way too much. Way too much, I think. And again, this the palette is almost assaulting to the eyes, I think. So Stephen Few talks about that. A lot of times, the best way to do is to use shades of the same color, and I think Days Active is a great place where we can use shades of the same color. Because if you think about it, I mean, I get it that 1+year is probably something bad, so it's using a shade of red. I think they can use a muted shade of red, but that's granted. But then, what is the relationship of purple to yellow to blue? There is no relationship, right? In humans, the best we can do is the green, yellow, red, right? I mean, because everybody's conditioned for that. But is purple better or worse than yellow, right? So imagine if you are not reading this table, if you don't have that, can you tell? No, because it is not on the scale. Colors are not on a scale. So instead of using different colors, what it would be a lot more effective is use shades of gray. And I love shades of gray. Don't mean it that way. Right? So 0 to 30 will be the lightest shade, right? And then, well, this is actually not in order, which is, oh my God, that is not good. Okay, that definitely needs to be fixed. So Days Active, it needs to be sorted. So these labels need to be sorted both in here and in the graph, because it just it just, you don't want people to go, oh, this is 1+year, oh, this is 0 to 30. So Days Active need to be sorted for sure. Shades of same color, shades of gray. I did try to read the novel, actually. I quit after that. I think I watched the movie with my wife. The movie was alright. Okay. Haven't watched the second part. So don't spoil it for me. Okay, so sort the numeric categories. So categories. So it should start with 0 to 30, and then what is it? 31 to 60, 61 to 90, that way. 31 to 60, 61 to 90. What is that? I might as well do the whole thing. 91 to 180. 91 to 180. And what do we have? Oh, gosh. Yeah, 181 to 365, and then plus 1 year. So you just gotta do it. It's just, it's going to be so much better that way, and there's so much struggle. And again, you don't need to use purple, yellow, blue, because those colors don't make any sense. You start with 0 to 30 is the lightest shade of gray, and then 31. So yeah, 0 to 30 is going to be the lightest shade of gray, probably this one, which is being used for this color, and then 31 to 60 will be a little bit darker. This would be a little bit darker. This would be a little bit darker. This would be a little bit darker. And this can be a shade of red. By the way, the rule of thumb is, how many shades of gray can human eye typically differentiate? Actually, up to 5. So Timothy got lucky here, because we can use red for +1, and that leaves us exactly 5. So and yeah, so human eye can differentiate shades, and again, once it's going to be sorted, it's going to make absolute sense. Like, look, this is what's going on. So boy, I mean, I feel so happy about that. I mean, I feel like I fixed kind of one graph. I think it's just going to go from, it's just going to be like awesome, right? It's going to be really, really cool. Okay, hopefully you guys kind of enjoy that. I know I did. Man, I feel like if I can stay on this one for longer, and I feel like I want to do something with the bottom graph. So what is the bottom? Man, so yeah, I feel like there's something off here. So if you go back to my example, and again, you guys can watch the video. Power pattern, where is it? Power pattern. Come on, I'm trying to get a screenshot of. Oh, this is. Oh, I built it over time. So generally, you take the high level number and you break it down a few different ways, right? You break it down and you trend it. That should always be your starting point. By the way, guys, you know when I said that my first thing that I show to my clients just has sum and count rows, and also it is almost always the power pattern, right? I just show their important numbers and then show the breakdown a few different ways, show the trend over time, and then show a little bit of detail. That's it. And again, that's the first report, and you can always iterate from there, right? But that's a good place to start. So I feel that's what's my struggle here, is that I would want to see current active to date broken out by something, and current active to date trended. Absolutely. I mean, and what I would say is, if that number is at the very top, that has to be the most important number. And of course, thinking about an HR, I mean, come on. I mean, current active, yeah, seeing that broken down by different departments. Oh man, I mean, that obviously is really important. So so I'll say consider power pattern, right? So, and that is in my video. So if the most important number is current active, or let's just talk about active, right? So we can show a breakdown, right? So power pattern says show breakdowns by department. So it will say, current active breakdown, right? And actually it might as well show current, but then it'll also say active trend, and trend over many months, over last 12 months, rolling 12 months, something like that, whatever you want. And imagine if you had both of these graphs together, which is going to look like kind of like this, right? So imagine if this was showing you HR current active by department, and then it was showing trend over time. And maybe, so HR people have budgets as well. There's like, hey, this is the budget and this is the not to exceed or stuff like that. And you can show those lines. Like, this is the actual, this is what we budgeted for, and we should be close to it, right? We should match it. We should not be understaffed or overstaffed. But then the best part is going to be that you can click on a department name. I don't know, maybe this is a better example, bikes, and see the trend of that department. Right, so that's when Power BI really shines, really stands out. And here I feel like I'm caught. I'm like, I don't know, right? I mean, what would I click, right? So I feel that is gonna really take this to the next level. Now, it's quite possible. So we are still on the first page. This dashboard has 5 pages. That information is on some other pages. But again, I feel that's the most important stuff ever. That should be the starting point, not some of this stuff. That can come later, right? I mean, the basic, most important stuff has to come first. It is dashboard by design, not by accident, right? So we're saying we're putting this on top, and to me, it makes logical sense. I've worked a little bit with HR people. Is that, yeah, that's important. Let's show it breakdown and trends. So I think, I feel like, so then there's a deferred exit, early exit, right? I mean, yeah, so these things are not matching up, right? If this is the most important stuff, I'm not seeing these things, like, I don't know how this relates to that, days active, I'm not really sure. I mean, this one, termination reason, I don't know. I mean, it's something here. And the stacked graph, ooh, I'm not really loving it. Like, it's hard to process anyway. I'm trying to figure it out. How would somebody read it? Okay, all right. You know what? It would have been awesome to have Timothy on the phone. That would have been so cool because I'm sure Timothy would have like stepped in and said, "Oh, well, hear me. Let me explain to you since you don't know anything about HR." Well, I know a little bit, but all right. So we have spent a good amount of time here, and I feel we did some good here, my friends. Good here. So thanks for staying on with me. Let's go to the next one. Okay, there's not much of a graph, so we can skip over. This seems to be kind of a breakdown job statistics. Okay, cool. I think this is like kind of the detailed stuff and 1 year term. Okay. Job title, and then we have kind of work-related injury. Okay, I'm sure kind of payroll hours. All right, I wouldn't call these kind of dashboard. These seem like kind of working reports. Cool. So good. I think we spent a good amount of time. So let's see. Hey. Everything about Excel. Hello, my friend. All right, so are we ready to move on to the next one? Which one should we pick? So we have done Jared, we have done Timothy. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Nabeel, sales dashboard? Do you guys have a say? I mean, I haven't seen either of these. Let's see what they sent in the email. Sometimes the folks who write about their dashboards, it's more interesting. Okay, I'm not seeing they wrote anything. Okay, so it's a toss-up. Let's go Robert Kersey. Robert Kersey. All right, gotta timestamp it. So Robert Kersey. I don't know what that was. Dashboard. And this one is 10:38. The night is still young, my friends. We got ways to go. So stay on with me. Okay, cool. So Robert Kersey. Okay, so this is just this is a two pages, 3 pages. Okay, let's start at the top. Okay, first impression, the dark background, right? I mean, is that what you first noticed? So, dark background. And I'll admit, so far I haven't not created a dashboard with a dark background. It's not necessarily good or bad. It does take more skill to handle this. Interestingly, what Stephen Few suggests is you can use white, but Stephen Few does say that sometimes a slight off-white background works better because white is a little bit too blinding, and that's why sometimes we kind of use dark background because but yeah, it just takes a little more skill with that one. Off-white disappears more than white. White is a little bit too glaring, so I do use white almost all the time. All right, cool. So the dark background. And the next thing that I noticed was the background. So it's not just dark as in black. There's an image there. So folks, again, remember, every dashboard you're building, the way you should be building is as if you're paying for each damn pixel you light up. Every one, right? So obviously you're going to have to minimize your cost and spend your money where it makes most sense. And where does it make most sense? It makes most sense to let your data be the superstar. So yeah, so this one is generally a no-no. I mean, this is again, I mean, we were talking about the 3 realms. Infographic, go at it. Put a picture back there. I don't know, cute kittens, I don't really care. Do what you want, right? Storytelling, I don't know. If it supports your story, go do it, right? I'm not going to say no. But operational report, let the data shine, right? So generally, I'll say background image is a no-no. So background image is a no-no. Every pixel costs us money. Every pixel we light up costs $1. Why pay for that? We want to pay for data, right? So we want to pay for data pixels. Okay, so let's do a squint test. Of course, the first thing that stands out is the map. There's no beating around the bush, right? So squint test that we show is map. Now, maps are actually some of the worst visuals, right? So, and again, I think this is a great example for that because it's impossible to read this map. I mean, so the information that is coded in like a column chart, man, it's extremely rich. And again, the length of the column chart is what's called pre-attentive processing. So even if I remove the labels, you can tell, like between these two, you can tell which one is higher. In fact, I'm told that we're so good at this that we can determine differences down to 2 pixels, which is really minute, right? And by the way, that's why column bar charts are far more effective than pie charts, because humans are a really bad judge of like the angle of the area, which is what pie charts force you to measure. And we are really bad at it. And the even worse thing is that we think we're not that bad. We think we're reasonably good, but we actually suck. So imagine if we were really bad and if we knew it, then we will be cautious against it. But we don't know it. Most people think, oh yeah, I mean, I can read a pie chart, but we actually suck at it pretty bad. So maps are So the staple that I use, and of course you've seen my power pattern now. Where'd it go? So table elements, and in my mind the card visuals and what is it called? The other card matrix tables, all of that in my mind they fall under as a table visual. So any of the table visuals, and then bar and column charts and line charts. That's it. That's my staple. That should be your starting point as well. So let's come back here. So world map, yeah, I mean, I don't know, and I know, I mean, people are like, oh, it seems shiny, it seems cool, but again, for an operational report, it's just not effective because it doesn't convey information as well. Like, I'm not sure, frankly, what to read. I mean, I can see the colors in United States and Canada, so whatever something KPI is good or bad in US or Canada, there's no indication if like darker is better or worse. KPI amount, I don't know. But then there are these shades of gray all over the world, and I have no idea how to read them. Oh, Australia, I didn't even notice that, right? So you see how poor of a visualization it is. I mean, Australia is a lighter shade of blue. So imagine this on a graph like this, there would be no confusion. I would read it, right, again, I mean, pre-attentive processing, it's before it even hits the brain. So the squint test, this visual is the most important, but I don't think it's doing justice to the data. Awesome, great. What I think I love is let's call out some of the good features. So I think it can be tweaked a little bit, but there is a lot of emphasis on high-level measures. I think they're just in the wrong spot. For example, if you ask me, I think this is the most important section because as far as I can guess, it is showing me overall data, right? So it's over the span of the selected time, right? So it's like, what were our sales for the whole year, that kind of stuff, right? So what were the sales for whole year? So these are the most important one. And then this one is the breakdown in my mind, right? So then I say, oh, so you have the overall numbers here, and now you can see kind of month by month how things changed. So this is the detail. So I would probably put this one up top and the detail right below it. That's how I would do it, right? So this one moves right up top. If I'm understanding it correctly, again, I don't have Robert here with me. So general KPI information. So I'll say good emphasis on important data, but maybe just move things around. So general KPI goes to the top, and then this guy, the KPI monthly changes, probably sits just below it. Changes, monthly changes. You know what I mean. monthly changes sits below it, right? So I would do that. What else? So yeah, so I think overall this has got good bones, because again, what is a power pattern? You show them the high level data, you show a little bit of the breakdown, which is being done here by time, and then for this one, I would say try a column chart. So there's a breakdown. There is certainly a trend graph here, right? So again, good bones. And there's a little bit of detail. Top 15, top 15. Oh, actually, that's like spot on, right? I mean, that's exactly the elements of the Power BI power pattern. Right, so high-level data, breakdown trends, and then a little bit of detail. So that one is spot on. You can experiment. So KPI per month, yeah. And again, the top part is the most important, right? So probably this part is really important in terms of screen real estate, and this is the part where you pay the most amount of money for these pixels, right? So these pixels cost you more. Might as well, again, showcase your data. You let your data be the superstar. So slicers and stuff, I like to put that in the least important area, which is generally, on your right to the lower portion. So I mean, if you have to, it's okay to start the slicers up top. It's you can do that, but again, I mean, so so right now it's occupying the most important section, and again, this is not data. This is just kind of a helper thing, right? So I would move things around a little bit. I would probably put this somewhere else. I think this one can probably go here, sit with more filters, refresh filters. And I'm expecting that this one is like the new customer, maybe new customer, and this one shows over here. So all I note down is kind of the slicers. Slicers move to lower priority position. Cool. So I think the best thing that this report is doing is got like good bones. So it's got good elements with a slight kind of moving around. It's going to be a rock star report. Okay, cool. So that was good. Yeah, and hey, kudos for being brave and using the black background. I think you've kept the color palette simple, which really works really well. So I think dark background skills, but I think it works in this case. Color palette is simple, which is good. I think they're pretty much using white, which obviously works well with the black background, and a little bit of red to kind of highlight stuff, which I can see kind of here, even though it's grayed out. Okay, let's quickly look at the other pages. So of course you start with the kind of high level information, and I think it's got all the right elements there. And then this was, what kind of dashboard is it? Some kind of like a customer dashboard. Okay, let's show it Kersey. Customer dashboard, and we have customer tasks and staff. Tasks by employees. Maybe this is like follow up with customers, so I'm assuming it's going to be related. And one thing that I really like is, so if I take you back to the power pattern, my friends. So if I take you back to the power pattern, which again, you can go watch this video when you get a chance if you haven't seen it. Of course, almost all of it is covered inside my course as well. So, oh boy, what was I going to say? Oh shit. Oh yeah. So power pattern, I often use it again and again on multiple report pages. So I'll show a pattern and it'll show sales, but then I'll use the same exact pattern and then show budget or show service tickets or show something else. And again, they will all follow the same pattern. They will have the top level numbers at the top, show breakdown and trends, often by the same breakdown by country, by category, and so forth, and kind of by trend, of course. So different pages, as you tab through multiple pages, they look similar, and I can see elements of that here. So obviously, in this case, the graphs and the elements change, but you can see that this element is similar to the one on this page. And again, I feel like these are the most important numbers, so they should be moved. But again, the pattern is there, and of course the date selection week and the more filters refresh filter is also in the same spot. So that is really good, so good. using a same pattern from page to page. So that is really good. What else? So again, folks, you usually want to go from high level to low level. So I think this still has good bones. So let's do page 2. Page 2. Go from high level to low level. So detail is low level. A table is low level. It's more detailed. Table is much harder to process. Table is still a great element, by the way. And again, only a handful of elements make it to my basic pattern, power pattern, right? So I use tables, which includes cards. So there are tables here. Table is a very effective, very effective element. And column and bar charts and line charts, right? So that's what I use. But even in there, column charts are visual, and this can be read pre-attentively. I mean, we can spot trends and make connections pre-attentively. We're really good at that. Table, not so much. I mean, table is very effective, but we have to scan it like one by one. It's almost like parallel processing versus serial processing. So you want to go from high level to low level. So what I would do is I would take this is the highest level information, put it somewhere up top, and then what's the next level of detail? I feel it should be a breakdown. So this is like by employee, and then this can come. So again, this is like a trend or a pattern, in this case by weekday, and then you should place this element. And when I'm saying this comes first, then this next, what the heck am I talking about? Am I talking about like stacking them up top to down or left to right? Not really. I'm talking about arranging them the way we visually scan. And how do we visually scan? The way we read. We go from here to there, and then across, and then across, and then across, right? So maybe this element, right, the high level kind of goes there, and then this breakdown, maybe they go here and here, because again, we visually scan this way, right? So they go there, and whatever space is left, kind of there is a table there or something like that. So obviously you're gonna have to sometimes kind of work around and see how it fits, but generally you want to go from high level to low level. Okay, so that is still good, but a lot of good stuff. I don't know what this chart is called. So pie charts are not very effective, and donut charts are the oh god. So I'm not a huge fan of these, and yeah, not because I have like a liking or disliking. They're just not visually very effective, right? I mean, humans, we can't read them as well, and yeah, right. So, God, and I know donut chart maybe kind of looks cool, and you put this number or something in the middle, and but guys, again, it's not very effective. What is our purpose with the dashboard? We want them to be able to make connections, draw insights, and pie charts make it hard, much harder than it needs to be. And I think this one at least has way too many elements to be effective. So this one is not very effective. I would say for this pie chart, you need some grouping. I mean, you show top 5 or top 10 countries and then group everything else into other, because again, it's useless at that point. It's just, human beings can't do anything with it. So I'm gonna call that one out. So destination to page 3. Page 3. So I will say try grouping. So you're gonna show the top 5 names or top 10 names, and then other, right? So it's gonna say Canada, US, Australia, GB, Great Britain, South Africa, New Zealand, and then other, something like that, right? So in everything else, and yeah, and of course, I think you can, well, at least in Zoom charts and stuff, you can have drill downs in there. So, which again, I mean, pie chart is a little bit weird. Cool. So, yeah, I don't know about. I'm not gonna say anything about this graph. I've seen this, and it. Oh well. Oh, maybe it's all right. So I know this one works great when you interact with it. When you click on carrier UPS, and then you see how things are set up. So yeah, yeah, I would say that's good. I mean, that's yeah, I would say that's probably all right in this case. Yeah, you can see which carrier is going to which destination is being served by which carriers. So yeah, that's actually I do kind of like that. Although I wonder if it was placed instead of horizontally, if it was given a lot of vertical space, it might work better. I think. What is this visual called, by the way? Does anybody know? Oh my God. Hey, Sandeep, thank you, mate. I'd forgotten about that. So, folks, I was playing around with the feature, and it's called Super Chat and Super Stickers, I think. So, Sandeep, hey, thanks for your Super Chat. Yeah, so he gave me a Super Chat shout out for, looks like INR 40. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I've been planning to, so I was playing around with this because if you heard me earlier, I came up with this crazy goal, which I feel really scared about, but um, to to um, to to raise money for Operation Smile, and of course, for those who join regularly, you've heard my story and know my story of how I broke my tooth and hence lost my smile. But I realized that it wasn't just a tooth, man. I was a changed man. I mean, I was not confident. So I was trying to raise money for that, and that's where I was playing around with Super Chat. So, Sandeep, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I guess that is your first contribution towards my Operation Smile Fund. So, really appreciate that. So might as well take a quick look at questions. Saul, how do we access Power BI without Pro Premium license? So Power BI is free. You don't need Premium or Pro or anything. You can go to Power BI, and first thing I would do is I would download Power BI Desktop. Right, that's the main authoring tool. All right, that's the authoring tool. And then what you can do is go to powerbi.com and sign up for a free account. There's a little bit of a catch, and that is where you publish your reports. And if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, then you probably haven't gone through my tutorial, which man, it's kind of crazy. It's crossed like 500,000 views. That's insane. Thank you for supporting that. And that's right here, the first one, and that one talks about these terms like authoring tool, publishing tool. So again, free. Anybody can use it. Anybody can download Power BI Desktop. Anybody can go on powerbi.com and sign up. Try free. The only catch is that it doesn't allow you to use Gmail, Hotmail, and those addresses. You know what? Maybe I should put up a tutorial on how you can get an email address, a company email address for you by getting a domain name for $10 a year. I think that's okay, right? So $10 a year, and you can get an email address which you can then use to sign up for Power BI. If you have a company email, that would definitely work. But some people don't have a company email address, right? They're not working at that point, or something like that. Yeah, so Hotmail, Gmail doesn't work. But otherwise, it is free. You know, all you need is a company email address. So it is free. Chartculator, no, no, I'm sure somebody else. So folks, yeah, if you know the name of this thing, let us know. All right, so hey, this was good. So Robert, thank you so much for sending this in, and yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully you got some good feedback. And again, hey, everything that I say, take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, use your own judgment. But the best thing you can do is to educate yourself about the principles of visualization design. This could be a great starting point. So check out this video, how to create beautiful Power BI dashboards. So where I summarize basically the key principles that I refer to, you know, the pixel economy and all that stuff, right? Where pixel costs you money and that sort of stuff. And all of it I learned by Stephen Few. So if you like, you can, I hope I link to the book here. I don't, which is embarrassing. I should have. Stephen Few's, I mean, I pretty much every single thing I know I've learned from that. And of course, the School of Hard Knocks, the best school out there of all. All right, guys, so let's toss a coin again. And let's do let's do a sales dashboard. Right? So sorry, Nabeel, if you're watching the replay or something, then I've been avoiding it because, man, I mean, so finance is what I've been closest with in my work life, although I've worked with every data under the sun. I mean, sales, marketing, finance, operations, support, whatever it is, I've seen it, you know. But sales I've been closest to, and my course mostly uses sales examples, so I'm a little bit jaded on sales. So let's pick it up. Let's see what time it is. 11:01. The night is still young, my friend. We're going strong here, and thank you for holding on. Oh man, and yeah, cool. All right, so let's see. What are we doing? Nabeel. Okay. I think you guys probably noticed me like fading a little bit as I go on. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's like wine gets better with time. I'm rambling now. That's not a good sign. All right, Nabeel, the file is loading. I'm super excited. Sales dashboard. I mean, hey, come on. I mean, I do love sales. I do love that part. Again, I've worked with finance and sales for the most part. And there's something about being so close to the money. And by the way, so folks, you've heard about the Pro Plus program that we have. And again, if you go to our website, we are so glad. And Marianne, whom everybody knows Marianne, who is in a course or has interacted with me. She kind of runs the ship, and of course you can read more about Marianne here. And she helped me showcase our Pro Plus members. So I love them all, and that is an amazing group. And I forgot what what the connection was. Oh shit, this is embarrassing. I was trying to connect some dots here. Yeah. So with the Pro Plus group, we came up with this idea, and they helped me come up with it, where we talk about chase the money. And guys, I'll say my part that I grew up in India, and whatever I absorbed from my parents, teachers, movies, society, all of that, I now realize that there are some parts of me which think that money is evil, right? So, and money is evil. Money sometimes kind of makes me feel guilty. There's some level where I feel like I'm not deserving of this money. And if you think about this, if you really feel that way, and of course there were parts of me which did, then what's going to happen is you're going to find, or actually you may not detect it, but you will end up sabotaging yourself. You will end up getting in your own way. And so folks, when I talk about this stuff, a good sign of this is that if you have been trying really hard to make more money, but it's not coming to you, there is something going on there. Because, again, I mean, we self-sabotage, we get in our own way, and that's what makes it hard. And if you can solve those things, then you're going to realize that you can step into this whole new world where money comes easily to you. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I have heard about it from all my coaches. That's what I started. You start questioning it first. So a good place is that you start with a question. And oh, by the way, you know what? This is a great time to shout out my second channel, Power On Now, where I talk more about this stuff, by the way. So if you have realized by now, by your own life, that's how I realize, so again, if you go to my channel and then just click
what
Power On
is
Now.
the key to success?
Hold on.
Our teachers told us that we
Okay, so yeah, if you go to my main channel, then on the side bar, you're going to find the Power On Now, or you can just go to youtube.com/PowerOnNow, where I'm going to be sharing more of this stuff. So, in this intro video, that's what I talk about, that's the place where I started, by just a question. If you don't question things, if you just keep doing the same things, guess what? You get the same results. And if you're happy with the results, good for you. But if you're not happy with the results, start with a question. So the question I would ask is that, oh, look, I'm working so hard, money isn't coming to me. Is something wrong, right? I mean, are there examples in my life, people that I know, people that I see, that for whom it does seem that money comes easily to them? I wonder why, right? So you start with a question and you look for examples, like in this world. Like, are there people for whom it comes easy? Well, then, and again, you see that, and then of course there's this other thing where you start getting jealous and you label them lucky or whatever, and you say, oh, good, right? I mean, so you put a wall between you and them. It's like, I'm not like them, when you should be doing the opposite, where you should see that, and you should always see that as an example of what's possible. So, oh look, if money can come easily to them, man, they raced from like 0 to 100,000 in 6 months. That's an example. That is what is possible for me as well. But just, I have to, again, I mean, if you want something different, you got to do something different, and you got to be someone different. If you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, guess what? That's the sign of madness? Something, right? I forget. So, all right. So anyway, so back to the Power BI Pro. There's a connection here, I promise, and I hope I'm able to hold that thread. Is that we're doing this thing where we're saying, hey, put your money, guilt, and money feelings, whatever you have aside. Let's just chase the money, and with a single-minded focus, our focus is in the program. We're gonna go after the first paid client, then get this next paid client, and then you've kind of validated yourself. You know that you can help others and you can be paid for it. And then the next step is super easy. Then all you have to do is make sure turn that into a system, so that now you get a steady stream of client. Whatever you did to get your first client, your second client, now you're going to do it kind of in a iterative fashion, and of course you're going to keep getting better at it. And right, I mean, yeah, so easy. So yeah, we're excited about that. So sorry, a long detour. And yeah, so that's why I loved working with sales and finance, because it's like direct. It's money is right there. You see dollar signs and it's like awesome. All right, so we got Nabeel's dashboard. It's a sales dashboard. First impression, well, I actually like the off-white background. We had talked about that earlier. So, and again, this is Stephen Few approved. And again, Stephen Few says that can actually work better than white, and I'm liking it. I think that's really good. I think there's something you can do to change this background to the same color. I don't know, page. I don't know how to do that. Page. Oh, why not wallpaper? Yes. What is this color? Oh, dang. What is the color? CCCC. Let me try that really quick. So if we say custom color. Oh, well, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, if you want your dashboard to pop out or no. Oh God. And I don't like those dotted lines. What's the way to get rid of them? Oh, there we go. Ah, hey, look at me. Ah, that looks cleaner, I think. Right? I think so. Unless you like borders, then don't do this. Like, if you let's undo this. If you want the dashboard to have like clear borders. Okay. What am I doing? Okay. Let's stop messing around. Let's do this, guys. So first impression, off-white dashboard, and let's do the squint test. All right. Hey, I'm getting the hang of this. By the way, if you don't realize, I often learn as I try to teach. so I'm seeing a trend here that I often do the squint test. I'll go back and read through my stuff or watch this video again. I'm like, what did I say? So okay, let me squint my eyes, and the first thing that eye gets drawn to are these images. And again, by the way, we have humans. We love human faces. I mean, a big part of a brain, relatively speaking, is dedicated to reading human faces. So human faces, man, they like pop out at us. They speak to us, right? So, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. So again, it's dashboard by design, dashboard by accident. So I don't know. Maybe in this case, he does want to show the human face, right? So I know we talk about data is a star, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like, so I don't have Nabeel on the phone. If I did, you'd probably say, yeah, we wanted to have it a human touch. So we'll go with that. We'll say, yep. So we'll assume that that's by design, that kind of show the human element, like show the faces. Now, of course. So, but what we humans do is humans, Homo sapiens. Oh my God. We try to, in a way, the brain is basically a pattern recognition machine. That's what the brain is. That's what most of our learning is. By the way, that is what creativity is as well. Creativity is being able to recognize those patterns and connect those dots. And the more creative you are, you can connect the dots across space and time. So Elon Musk can take something in like rocket science and connect it with cars or something else, right? I mean, us mortals, it would be harder for us. We can't span space or time. I mean, if something is right next to each other, we'll say, oh yeah, this looks like that. But if they're far apart, we don't see the connection. And of course, I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, red ball versus red ball. I'm talking about like, hey, the way we solve the problem of food shortage in Kenya, we can use the same solution for a space station, something like that. So, right, so something which is far apart in space or time. That's what creativity is. That's how our brain works. We're looking for patterns. So if this is the most important element, which it does seem in the squint test, then immediately my brain, again, consciously or subconsciously, you may not realize it, but once I say it, you will realize it. My brain is trying to understand the pattern, and what it is saying is, what do the size of the photographs mean? So I'm going to assume that the size is not random, it is intentional, which it actually is. Ooh, I can see that it's by value of product master special something. So that's good. That's good. You know, so size of picture is intentional by product value something. So that is good. That is a good thing. That's a great thing. Okay, so that is what it is, and yeah. So somewhere. Let's try to cross filter things. See how it works. Okay. Interesting. So employees by store. So what else do we see? So let's see. So we know by squint test that that's the most important element. But let's do the guided tour, or try to do the guided tour. And again, right, so it's dashboard by design or dashboard by accident. Did you just put some elements there? And again, guys, I mean, I'm not being hard on you. When I had not read any of the visualization design principles, all of my dashboards were dashboards by accident. I would throw something up there and go, cross my fingers and looks good. And the challenge is that since most people are not trained in visualization design, even if you show to managers or peers or your team, they may not say anything. They may say, in fact, quite the opposite. They may say that it's lovely, but we are not in the business of making lovely dashboards, are we? I mean, is that what you're getting paid for? Make lovely dashboards? I don't know. And again, we've talked about the infographic area versus, kind of the storytelling versus operation reports. I was in the business of operation reports. Their job is not to be lovely. Their job is to be effective. An infographic, go ahead, design a lovely infographic. Go ahead, put some data together which tells a lovely story. Go do that there, not here. All right? Don't. So, but again, I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any principles of visualization design, so I just threw it up there. And oh wait, what did it do?
Thank you.
Oh, am I back on now? Oh, okay, back on now.
Okay, yeah, now it's
Awesome.
okay.
Awesome. You two folks, if you my audio drop, if it's not back, let me know. Audio should be back. Okay. All right. So again, so I'm not being hard on you guys. I was in the same boat, right? So, but again, once you learn these principles, they're not hard. They're really, really easy. And of course, if you check my video, that's what, that's like 20 minutes long, right? And I know you'll be tempted. Don't watch it in 2x speed. Right? Everybody's in a hurry. No, just take your time, absorb it, watch it a few times, right? So it covers the most basic ones. And of course, if you want to go beyond, then get the Stephen Few's Information Dashboard Design. I don't know why I didn't link to that. So Stephen Few has a few books. I think this is the classic. I think this is the best. And well, yeah. I mean, hey, you can get a used one for less than $10. So there you go. All right. So with those principles, we know that. So next, check the layout. So let's actually write it down, what we're doing. That way I can go back to my notes and learn from myself. So let's check the layout. And the layout is basically, left to right, top to bottom, right? That's the way we scan the layout. So again, so is it dashboard by design? So if you scan this way, does it feel like a guided tour? Does it feel like, oh yeah, the person wants me to go this way? For example, if you go back to our this one. Where did that go? Power pattern. Well, when the power pattern comes up, I mean, you've seen that. Showing a sales report. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that it was a guided tour. It was very intentional. Like you go this way, and that's how I wanted the users to go, right? So you say, yep, high level detail, and then breakdown trends and so forth, right? So versus, I think in this one, it's again, this is not data, so I think this can be put somewhere else. And then you scroll down here, and then again, this scan block is vertical, so I'm kind of stuck there. Like, do I now change my scanning, which is unnatural? But again, this is useless. This is not data either. This is just a slicer. So I think the most important. So again, in general, this part is the most important. But in general, this is important, and the top is the most important. The second. So the first thing that I look for is the top corner, right? And then I look for like the top bar here, and then of course it's kind of this section. So yeah, I think we're using the most valuable real estate. We're paying the most amount of money. Remember, you pay for each pixel, and you pay more for the high priority ones, the ones in downtown New York, right? Manhattan. Obviously, you're going to pay more. So we're paying it for non-data pixels. So the goal for you is to either eliminate the non-data pixel, and you can do that sometimes with things like this black bar. Do we really need it, right? So, and again, guys, I mean, I know I would just put stuff up there and think it looks good, but then you look at it from a visualization design perspective, and that's what it is teaching us. It is teaching us that you kind of question each pixel and you say, hey, non-data pixel, can we eliminate it or minimize it? So eliminating it would mean that I totally remove this background color, and then obviously I think the white wouldn't work, so I may change the color of the font. But again, you do that and you see, does it still work? And I would say that it often does, right? So and you can use kind of white space to kind of separate the elements. So that's what I mean by eliminating data pixel. What would be an example of minimizing it? Let's say you remove this black bar, and you look at it and you say, no man, it doesn't quite work. It's not popping out the way I want it to pop out. Well, then you can still use non-data pixel, but minimize them. How do you minimize them? Well, don't use black. Maybe just use a slightly darker shade of this gray, and I think you would find that it would still work. Frankly, in this case, I think even if you remove the bar and change the font color, it would still work. You would see that the report looks okay. So so layout, right? So this is non-data pixels in high dollar spots. Consider moving. And next I would say is that eliminate, minimize non-data pixels. Example, the black bar in title. All right, so the layout is, yeah. Yeah, this one is a little tricky because this one seems to be the most important element. And then, so again, now that we know our principles, and now we do want to give them a guided tour, I'm trying to figure out that what is the order. So again, we usually want to take them high level to low level. So again, this one is tricky because this one is kind of like a slicer, and but also it's encoding data. Yeah, there's something slightly off here. I think for one, I didn't even realize that this one has a scroll bar. So again, guys, I mean, generally what you're looking for is that dashboard elements should be, oh God, what's the word? Okay, I got it. Intuitive and discoverable. Maybe in that order. Discover. If you don't discover it, then it doesn't matter if it's intuitive or not, right? And a classic example that I actually don't quite like is drill down. Drill down in Power BI, like actually this graph has a drill down, believe it or not, but it's not very discoverable. I mean, you have to like hover over it and then it shows those 4 buttons. But imagine like an alien landing on Earth, right? Or you trying to teach it to your 80-year-old grandma or a kid or something, right? I mean, they wouldn't know what those buttons are. I mean, and yeah, they don't like call, yeah. So it's not very discoverable. Right? It's not that you automatically stumble on it, and so that is discovery. Like, are you going to find it on your own? And intuitive is that once you find it, are you going to find it easy to use, right? So can you find it on your own? Let's actually define it, because I think that's the most elegant way I have ever defined it. Can you find it on your own? Can you figure it out on your own? Once you find it, is it easy to use? And I think the drill down is neither. It's not discoverable. It's not easy to find. Like, if I never tell my users, or at least users new to Power BI, about drill down, yeah, I don't think anybody would discover it. I mean, so I have to tell them, I have to train them. I say, hey, look, this has drill down. This is how you do it. And then I think I still struggle with it. I'm like, what am I clicking? And I always get lost in there. So that's neither. That's yeah. So Power BI teams, if you're listening, you guys are awesome. So don't worry about what I said. Okay. So in this case, I think that the fact that it's scrolling wasn't discoverable. Yeah, it was. I really thought that this is actually, what in the world is this? Is it actually, I'm not sure what this is. So I'm actually kind of lost. I thought I was expecting this was what is called a multi-row card, but it is not. It is a multi-row card, but it is multiple multi-row cards. So how the heck do I, so I'm confused, because clearly I have not selected an employee right now, but it's showing me apparently one employee, one face. And let's see what happens if I click on this. It does update, but if no employee is selected, then now I realized. So yeah, there is something off here, because you see how hard I'm having to work my brain to kind of figure it out. Obviously, you don't want that. You want it to feel like natural, easy, again, intuitive, discoverable. So I feel that when no employee is selected, that this should show all employees. But for the life of me, I can't. Bleh. Is it? Oh man, I'm still getting confused. So employee details. So I think this one is off. What would I do? Right? What would Jesus do, my friends? Or what would Stephen Few do? That's a better question. What would Stephen Few do? So clearly there's a disconnect here. We know that. There's a dissonance, right? These frequencies are not matching. No employee selected, but it's kind of showing me one employee. So let me select this person and see if anything changes. Oh my God, it does change. So this is obviously, it's getting kind of like bad to worse, because otherwise, if I just open this dashboard, I would think, and if I knew this person, let's call her Jeanette, then I'd say, oh my God, Jeanette knocked it out of the park. Oh my God, 80 million. But no, Jeanette is not 80 million. Jeanette is just 5 million, right? So bad juju, my friends. Bad juju. So hey, quick question. Hey, let's do a poll. This is going to be fun. What is the time right now? 25. Poll. What do you think is worse? Dashboards that outright lie. You know what I'm talking about, right? So, or dashboards that are unintentionally misleading, right? So, they don't intend to mislead, but they are, right? So, outright lie, dude. Come on, have you guys had fun with this? I mean, anybody who's worked with data knows that, man, just by actually this, just by kind of changing sometimes if something is wide or broad, you can make it kind of look better or worse, or changing the scale. We've all done that, right? It's not just me. I mean, hey, sometimes, right? So yeah, I was like, oh, this looks bad. Okay, fine. We're gonna change the axis or something, and now it looks better, or it looks much worse. So less worse. It doesn't look as bad. So which is, but you know what? Maybe outright lie. So this is intentionally misleading, right? Versus unintentionally. So yeah, which one is worse? Outright lie is worse, huh? I don't know. I think yeah. Okay. I'll hear. I want to hear from you guys. I mean, in this case, at least somebody knows that what they're doing. In this case, nobody knows, right? So usually when we do this, hey, I'm coming clean with you guys, right? So I would be sitting with my manager or my team, and we would be prepping our dashboard, PowerPoint deck. That's what it usually be for the meeting. And so we all sitting in the team together, and manager would say, well, we didn't meet those numbers. Avi, can you try changing that graph to this? I'm like, okay. All right, so at least the team knows themselves that they're where they are, but in this case, nobody knows. So I don't know which is worse. So neither. yeah, that's the best case. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, so I think in this case, bad juju. So Janelle, was it Jeanette? What are they calling her? So it looks like she made 80 million, which she didn't. So she does not get to go to the sales convention in Hawaii. Sorry. I know she's going to be disappointed. So what would you do? What would Stephen Few do? Well, I have no idea. But I would tell you what I would do is that I do this sometimes. So I would sometimes have a visual which only makes sense when a single employee is selected. In that case, I work a little bit hard so that if no employee is selected, then I either blank it out, it will just show kind of blank. Or what I do even better is often I show a message saying something like, "Oh, please select an employee." Right? So I'm otherwise they're like, "Oh, this is not working. It was broken, Avi. This doesn't show anything. It's blank." Well, no, it gives a message. Hey, select an employee. Or, if I need to, I'll split it. Please select an employee to see their data or something like that, right? So that's what I would say for this one. So let's see if any other answers came in. Oh, we had Ishmael, Roslan, and everything about Excel. Everything about Excel. Sorry, I know you've hung around my channel for a while. If you could type in your name, that way I'm not calling you by your YouTube screen name. All right. So what did I say? So employee details, misleading. That's what I would say is that if no employee selected, let's blank out the measures. Show a message. Please select an employee. Okay, got it. Let's come back to the layout. So the layout, I'm going with this, that this is the most important element. So this one is tricky because I think after this one, this feels the most important. Again, it has that big photo. It has kind of the big numbers. So I would probably put these two kind of, yeah, again, I'm not 100% comfortable with this, but I'll probably move this in the top corner. So I'll put that one there and then put the employee details either directly below it. But again, we scan left to right, so maybe I'll put it here. That would be my first instinct. So employees, photos go here, details kind of go here. And then the chart, goes here and the table goes here. That's how, in my mind, I would lay it out. Again, you're going from kind of high level to low level. So, right, so chart is high level, table is low level, so table comes last in this order because we scan this way. But otherwise, I mean, this is I think this is a good report. I think I would assume that there's a conscious choice to give it kind of this human touch and show faces. Obviously, I will move kind of these selectors off to the side and you know, kind of shift the graph over there. You know what? Maybe this order is perfect. So yeah, maybe employee details. Maybe this whole thing can just be kind of shifted this way, and the slicers kind of end up so the slicers, they end up kind of the here in this spot. So I think that'll be pretty minor change. Okay, cool. So, man, that was good. That was really good. And by the way, folks, we were talking about shades of gray. Look at that. I mean, you don't have to go yellow, green, blue, purple, all of that. This works beautifully. Yeah, and again, I mean, this is brilliantly done. I mean, the current year is kind of a little bit darker shade. And right, so again, I mean, intuitive, right? We were talking about discoverability and intuitiveness. This is intuitive. You don't have to think about it. Now, the only slight gripe that I have is that so again, I mean, once you understand the design principles, how do we scan? How do we scan the way we read, right? So we go, I mix my right and lefts. So this is left to right and then down, so top, and then top to bottom, right? So that's how we scan. So we're scanning this way. And if you notice, once I pointed out, you'll probably see it, is that this feels weird. Why? Because, 2019 comes after 2018. And what does that mean? So when I was in my geography class, I would say Sri Lanka is below India. And so Mexico is below Canada, right? So year over year comparison. Hold on, let me take some notes. 2018. Oh man. 2018 should come after 2019, right? So it's not. And let's see if I can take a screenshot of this really quick. So when I say after, what does that mean? So let's do after, and this would be in the in the sense we scan, right? So right to left, top to bottom, right? So that's how we scan. Otherwise, so again, I mean, in geography, there is no above or under, as my teacher would tell me, right? So Mexico, I would say things like Mexico is below USA. That's not true. It looks below USA on a map, but guys, it's a swear. So I mean, you can turn it upside down, and yeah, I mean, right? So that is not true, right? So in some cases, kind of before, after, above, below doesn't make sense. But in this case, it makes sense in this context, right? So when we scan, right? So 2018, yeah. So this kind of feels unnatural. So that's the only one that I would switch. And of course, I think that is as simple as just changing this. Oh my God, right? I mean, you see how simple this is, right? I mean, once you kind of understand the principles, you can do the right thing. And now it's like kind of makes more sense. Paulo, hey Paulo, awesome, man. That's great. From Philippines, great. Paulo Reyes. Awesome, man. Good to have you on the channel. Okay, wow, this was good. Why I love money. Sales. Money. Money is good, guys. Money is good. Yep, money's good. Hey, if you don't mind, guys, so I talked about money earlier. Let me say a little bit more about money. So what's the time right now? money. Oh shoot. Oh, this is wrong. So I talked about what I call the money blocks. And by the way, I do plan to record more structured videos for my Power On Now channel, youtube.com/Power On Now. That's my second channel. And that's where I'm going to cover kind of this content. There's some good content there. There's one thing that I'm doing is that every time I meet with my mindset coach, whatever I learn from her, I turn around and record it for you. So I already have some episodes there. The next one that's coming is how I was finding that I wasn't focused on what I need to do, and it wasn't clear. You know, they say journey of 1,000 miles starts with the next step, but yeah, I get it. But I was like, oh, which next step? Like, which direction, right? I mean, do I go right, left? You know, so I was confused about that. So that's the next episode that's coming because I just met with her this week. So like how to get you kind of focus. And there's other stuff there. But we talked about money blocks, like money is evil. Money is scarce. Ooh, that's a big one, right? I mean, do you believe that? Do you really believe that money is scarce and hard to come by? Well, guess what? Our beliefs create a reality, shape a reality. So if you believe that, then it is always going to be true for you. It is always going to be scarce. It is always going to be scarce, hard to come by, right? And what was this? I'm not worthy of money. Oh boy, you will take that one to the grave, right? Yeah, mate, you're gonna die poor. Sorry, unworthy money, whatever, right? So stuff like that, and there's a long list, you know. But then how do you kind of, you know, so sometimes it's okay to want money, but so people want money, but they're pushing it away. So I'm not gonna go too deep in that because it may not, like Avi. I mean, this is the middle of a dashboard makeover session, right? So I'll save that when I do a video for the Power On Now channel. But folks, what I would warn you and caution you against is that don't be stuck in this loop. Is that I have no money, I have no money, I have no money. Even if your bank account says $0, even if your checks are bouncing, which folks, I've been there. I've gotten the NSF notices, non-sufficient fund, and the first time I got it, of course, I was freaked out and all of that stuff. So I've been there. I know exactly how it feels, but you can't stay stuck in that. I'll tell you why. And by the way, like I want money, I want more money is just a variation, right, of this. What you want more money because you're saying you don't have enough, right? And that's what you're saying. And this is operating from a place of scarcity and lack. And you can't operate from there. The example that I'm going to give for you is this, right? So think about job search. If you're too desperate for a job, have you realized? So when I look back at every time I've looked for a job, but there were some times when I was too desperate. So the worst time was, of course, when I was laid off in the financial meltdown. And so I was laid off, like they gave the notices in September, and my daughter was about to be born in December. I was freaking out. That was some hardest stuff that I've gone through in my life. It was brutal, right? So what was my state of mind? It was from this scarcity and lack and this anxiety, right? That, oh, I want a job, I want a job, I want a job, oh, please give me this job, right? What was my state of mind when I would go into an interview? Well, do you think I was really putting my best foot forward? Or was I self-sabotaging myself, right? I mean, I wanted it so desperately, right? That I was like, oh, don't make a mistake, right? So you see that a little bit, right? That, you know, how you can, you know, you can get in your own way. I mean, you want it, but you want it so bad that you are not making it work. You're pushing it away. You would go to the interview and you would self-combust, right? You would implode. And of course, the thing is, it's not just about that interview. Everything you would do, like what you get up in the morning and how you start your day and the things you focus on, things you do and the things you avoid, it affects everything. So, of course, man, when you're desperate, when you really want that job, that's when you don't get it. Irony of life, isn't it? And have you seen this, that people who really need the money, they're the ones for whom it's hardest to get it, right? And if you look at folks who have money, it seems to come easily. Paradox of life, right? But I think under that is this kind of feeling that, so again, the same way if you're too desperate for a job, I hope you can see that part, right? Same way it works with money. It's harder for me to kind of explain why it works the same way, but just go with me here, right? So yeah, stop operating from this place. Okay, back to dashboard makeover. Okay. All right, hope you enjoy that. Let's see how we doing, huh? Oh, awesome, man. Hey, party's just getting started. So how are we? Oops. Let's come back. Nope, I didn't want to play this. All right, toss a coin. Osama, Jose, Ghada, Ibrahim. One is a PDF. Ghada. Let's do that. All right, so Ghada, Ibrahim, hospitalization rates. Okay, and timestamp. Night is still young. Party's still on, my friends. We're gonna go till the wee hours here. Okay. Get Ibrahim. I'm gonna open the PBIX. I'm gonna open the PDF. And there we go. Okay, so I'm not sure if the desktop is the same or is it different. It's opening. I'm gonna find out soon. Let's do that before we kind of dive in. Based on that, I'm gonna pick which one do we focus on. PowerBIPro desktop, you can do it. Okay, you did it. And it's rendering. Oh, interesting. It's different. Okay, let's go with this. All right, okay. So now you know the pattern. Well, now hopefully I know the pattern. Is what we do is kind of first impression. And then we're going to do squint test, and then we're going to do layout. With me? Yeah. All right, so first impression looks clean. I would say hard to see detail. So what I'm saying is, like, these lines are all bunched up. And usually I don't notice this right away, but this one is so pronounced that that it's, yeah. So I think the axis, yeah, it's not really working. So now I notice what's going on here is that they have kept the axis the same, 0 to 100%, 0 to 100%, 0 to 100%, which does help in comparing this to that, but I don't think we need that, you know. Like, I think this one can be 0 to 100%, but then this can have its own axis. By the way, did you guys know that if this were a column chart, so let's do this one as a column chart. If this was a column chart, that it's okay to change the top axis and have it be like, I don't know, 60 or 50 or something, so that you see more detail. But it is not okay to change this one, 0. You can't start it at some other number. But if it's a line chart, you can actually change the lower axis. So them's the rules, my friends, right? So, I mean, I kind of see the sense in it. I'll let you kind of figure out why you think that's the case, right? So for a line chart, it's okay, because if I want to see kind of more detail in this band, and let's say the lowest point is, like, let's assume it's above 20%, then it's okay to start the axis from 20 to 50. Actually, let's try that. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go axis. First of all, let's just do auto axis, x, y axis, and start. So I'm just going to delete this auto. So perfect, right? So you see what's going. It's like went from 20 to 45. So and this is okay. okay. Now I'm really interested if let's do the same thing here. So let's change it to this, and boom, you notice that it changed both the lower limit and the higher limit. But I wonder if Power BI knows what I'm talking about. Is that in a column chart you cannot change the lower axis? Do you think Power BI knows or does not know? Is it going to keep this axis this weird? Well, it's going to be weird for a column chart, like 30 to 40. Let's find out. Oh my God, I've never tried this. And oh, did I click it? Oh shoot, what did I do? What am I doing here? It does. Bingo. So smart. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Power BI folks. So it knows. It knows, guys. It's smart. It uses the right best practices. So column chart, thou shall never change the axis from 0. Sorry, those are the rules, all right? So don't mess with that. Don't like, don't do what would be okay in a line chart. So, and Power BI knows it, guiding you. So in a line chart, it's okay to change the lower axis. Column chart, not okay. All right. Now, of course, so Power BI seems to know it if you set it to auto axis. But again, sometimes you might want to control it. Might want to have everything be like 20 to 50 or something. Just be aware. So if you do like lower axis 2050, well, you can't use a column chart. Or if you use a column chart, the lower number has to start at 0. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's one of those things I know, but I don't know it well enough to explain. So of course I come from India. English is a second language. So my son, well, now he doesn't do it anymore. Now he has his own cell phone, so he just Googles it. But when he was younger, he would ask me about the meaning of a word. And I couldn't tell him the meaning, but I could use it in a sentence for him. So yeah. So I think I'm at that level where I kind of understand it for myself, but not good enough to explain it. If you have like a short thing, oh, this is why, Avi. This is why it is okay in a line chart to do this, but not in a column chart. Let me know. Type it in. I mean, I would learn something new. All right, cool. So where were we? Oh, okay, cool. So let's undo this stuff. So I think that I noticed right away. So that is the first impression. Did I say that it looked clean? Yeah, it looks clean. Looks clean. Hard to see details, right? So I would say consider changing axis, auto or set tighter limits, like I don't know, 20, 50, something like that, right? So. Yeah, but you notice the big difference, right? So let's actually for a second look at the first graph. Oh, well, not the first graph, but this guy, and look at it with the 0 to 100 axis, which I'm trying to get to by undo. Maybe not a smart move. There we go. Right. So notice how it looks now, and notice how it looks now. Right? And that's something. Yeah, let's try it with this guy. So this is only 3, which is good. I think you're really gonna see it. So yeah, lower graph. Yeah, bingo, right? So you see, man, it's a world of a difference. Right? I mean, here you can actually kind of see trends. You can see that, yep, Hispanic, there was something going on, right? I mean, there's something here. Both Hispanic and black non-Hispanic kind of dipped, and white kind of slightly went up, right? So again, right? I mean, so what happened? So again, I mean, you can see the trend versus this one. Can't see anything. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just you have to work really hard for that. Okay, so that's the first thing. So what's the next one we do? Squint test. Okay, so I do a squint test and I see nothing. So I think so. Has this happened to you? Tell me if it has, where your manager, kind of dumps a lot of tasks on your plate, and you say, hey, which one is B1? And don't you love this answer? Oh yeah. Oh, they're not even P1. They're all P0. What? Right? But guys, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When everything is important, then nothing is important, right? So everything is important, then nothing is important. And that's a little bit the case here. So if you notice that they're all the same size, complexion, texture, they kind of look alike. And especially with the whole 100% scale, then, well, frankly, these guys are now standing out more because there's more color, so it's drawing your eye, right? I mean, did you notice that? That now, just because it's more pronounced and it's got more colors, I mean, this one immediately, like if I do a squint test, I'll probably focus on this, but it's still not great. But of course, initially, they kind of blended out, right? So it wasn't clear what the focus is. So yeah, so I think you want to tell a story. You want to give them a guided tour. So again, even on operational report, there has to be a sense of high level detail to low level detail, high important to low importance, like, I don't know, more detail usually, right? Those two usually go together, right? So you can do that. So what's the most important element? Most important element in visualization design? White space. Because remember, lowest cost, let's just for now say cost is 0. Right? You don't pay for white space, right? You pay for every other pixel you light up. I don't know, I've been debating whether you pay $1 free. Let's call it free for now. So you can use white space and basically size, right? So you can use, kind of the size with white space. Now, of course, this one, layout, we'll talk about that, but layout, you know this. I mean, this is the most important area. That's where the pixels are the most expensive. That is downtown Manhattan. Actually, let me just do that. Hey, humor me, guys, because I don't remember half the stuff that I say. This is down Manhattan, and what have we built here? Don't build a parking lot. Well, I mean, I know downtown Manhattan needs parking lots, but let's build the Freedom Tower. Let's build the Freedom Tower, right? I mean, isn't it Manhattan? It probably isn't. No, it isn't. I don't think it is. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, let's build something gorgeous and beautiful in that space. Nobody wants a parking lot, I mean, yeah. So that's what slicers are. Sorry, slicers. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. Okay. So, all right. Oh, man. Okay, cool. Don't bark. Okay, so we wouldn't do that. So we'll probably... so this is the first time we're actually doing some kind of an actual makeover. So company logos, they're the least useful element because they're not even interactive. I mean, slicers are at least somewhat useful. So I'll probably put this here, and I'll probably make these elements a little smaller and put a little bit of a white space between them. Wow. Oh man, I'm having fun with this. Ooh, yeah. So you see how I'm trying to give a guided tour here? Do you guys see this? So what I did, and let me actually make it a little bit smaller too. So again, white space is the most effective element. And often you don't need like these fill colors and so forth. I would probably mention that next. You can just use kind of white space. So just by placing these 4 elements together, the signal that I'm sending is that these are connected. And they are, because they're taking the same metric and breaking it down a few different ways. And of course, what I would say is that just repeating the title, overweight, I know it says age group here, but it makes it, I think it makes it confusing. It's like, what? You've already said overweight there, and if you want to draw attention to it, let's make that a little bit bigger, right? I mean, if you have anything that's kind of a report title, Oh yeah, how do we make it bigger? Let's make it bigger. Hey, I mean, depends. You can play with it. Can we bold it? No, I don't think so. Oh, I guess we can use a bold font. So Sego UI, is there semi-bold in here? Sego U. Oh, what is semi-bold? Okay, fine. We'll use Sego bold. Okay, so you see, I mean that one, and well, yeah. All right, so that one is kind of bigger and it's set apart, so that gives the title. And this one we can do the title. We can change. Oh, okay. What is it doing? But I think so. I see. Man, that's pretty smart. So he's using a measure for the title text, but I think something is not working. What is it? First risk factor. Yeah. I really think that it should be. I would remove it, and I would say by age group, right? And then I'll change this to by gender. This will be by race, by household income. I think that would, right? So again, so if you think about it, what is the visual guidance that I'm doing, right? So what I did was I put this in the most important spot. It's like, hey, this is the most important stuff, and I'll come back. I think well, let's just do it. Icons are kind of useless, so I usually try to throw them in the least valuable section. I know it's kind of weird, but like it's not really working in this yet. But it's all right. We'll live with it. What I would say is we'll do another one, and we'll do high level metric. Let's do high level metric and 277.9. But of course, we don't want that for all years. Maybe we'll say current year. I don't know. I think there need to be some kind of high level number here, which will say current year's value. So it needs to say, what is it, 34.5%, and maybe change from last year, something like that, right? So we could do that. So imagine measures there. So then these can be, kind of big and bold, high level numbers up top, and you show kind of the trend. And then, right, I mean, I tried to maximize the space between these two to give a visual break, right? So visual break. Imagine you taking somebody through a guided tour. And you know those, how they place in the museums, they place the red rope? Oh, actually, this is good. So layout. I've talked about this. So it's kind of like a museum guided tour without a guide. So when you go to a museum, they don't have a guide with you, but there is a layout. There is a very thought out, conscientious design, right? I mean, museum by design, not museum by accident, right? So a guided tour. Think about the stuff that they do with the red rope in different areas, right? So they would have some sections sectioned off, or they would guide the users this way. That's what your goal is. So guys, some cases you'll be presenting the dashboard, and then frankly you can be a little bit sloppy because you can guide them, right? You can place the most important element here and still call attention to that when you're speaking, right? So they're going to be listening to you. So let's assume that this is the most important element. You can come in here and you can do spotlight, and then they are focused on this. But if you're not there, and that's the difference between, kind of good to great operation report. Good reports can work while a person is presenting, but great ones work without a person, without a museum guide, a person taking you through room by room. Oh, now we need to go to this room. Now we need to go to that room. Now look at this. Now look at that. No. I mean, you should be able to go to the museum, walk in yourself, and just guide yourself and still have an amazing experience, That's never worked for me. You spend the most time in the first section and then you're running through the last one. So maybe it's not the perfect analogy, but yeah. So high level numbers, and then again, kind of white space, kind of act like a red rope. That's what I wanted to write. door, right? So that is supposed to act like a little bit of, right? So there's a little bit of gap. Maybe I can increase that. And then I try to keep these elements kind of clustered together because they are, right? So you see how they are together. That's why I put them together by minimizing the white space, right? So, oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, of course, well, yeah, so minimize it. So the brain would see them as clustered, and I intentionally want to see, them to see that that's clustered. Okay, cool. So so I think putting high level numbers, having some emphasis. Again, if everything is important, then nothing is important. And then what was the last few things? So again, the whole thing about data pixel economy, where you focus at all of your non-data pixel, and can you eliminate them or minimize them? All right. So actually, if you would humor me. So again, and you just have to play with these elements, right? So the first thing you would look at is, can I eliminate the non-data pixel? What's a non-data pixel? This background is a non-data pixel. Does it need to be colored? This outline is definitely a non-data pixel. Does it need to have this black line? And this title bar, the background, the darker background there, that is all non-data pixel. So let's select these guys, and let's see if we can blow away all of that. So I have all of those selected. If I go in here, and I go, background is off, so background is gone. And then how do I do the border? Border is off, and then title background is nothing, no fill. I feel it needs a little bit, maybe the title, but we can minimize it. Oh, did that work? So we got that, and we go to title. So again, eliminate non-data pixel or minimize them. So I don't think we need that shade. It can be the lightest shade of gray, maybe even lighter. What's lighter? Oh gosh, I don't know how to do lighter. CC. Is that lighter? Nope. Gosh, forget it. Let's go with CC. I'm sure you can do that. Yeah, I think we could go even lighter, and it would work, right? So let's try it. But you see what we're doing here, right? I mean, I think this works. I don't think we needed the background. And again, you can use the background and so forth. And again, if you feel you need it, bring back in, but make it subtle. So again, if you think you need the border, if you decide that, if you look at this and you say, you know what, it is not working, bring the border, but it doesn't have to be a black line, right? So again, if you can't eliminate, then minimize it. So have it be the lightest color possible. So right, so you see there, and yeah, that's not bad actually. So again, if you wanted to bring back borders, let me select all of them, and we're going to go in here and border on, but we're going to choose the lightest shade, and we'll see kind of how that looks, right? So, and again, you can kind of test it and so forth, and with border, without border. Your goal is to, again, eliminate or minimize non-data pixels as much as you can do. And of course, we'll do the same thing here. All right, so we talked about a few different stuff. Let's do layout, and then we said non-data pixel, background, border, title, background. Eliminate or minimize. All right, folks. Hey, just 101. How's everybody doing? Give me a shout out or show the total numbers in the picture. Paulo had a suggestion for the employee dashboard. Yeah, the picture could be removed. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, cool. So how are we doing? Should we look at page 2? So access. Did we talk about access? Not quite. Oh yeah, we did. Changing access. Squint test layout. So yeah, we can give them Ghada tour. Okay, well, this is just one page, so I wouldn't, like, this is really simple. Okay, let's take a quick look at PDF. All right, so map. This may be one of the rare cases where map actually makes sense. So yeah, so maps are probably the most abused visual. People use maps when they really shouldn't use maps, just because they think they look cool. But guys, I want to design dashboards which are effective first, cool later. It's okay to have a cool dashboard, but man, it better work first. So I think this is one of the good examples. Interesting. Now this is really interesting. So there's something going on here though. So I get the color coding, but I don't get the colored border. Oh, counties above MI rate are outlined. So I think, so again, see, it took me a bit to understand that, right? I think it can be made slightly more discoverable. So when we are interpreting a map, chart, graph, we know to look at the legend. Everybody knows that, and that's the first thing that I looked at, right? So if you want to understand this graph, we know to look here. So if we know that the person is going to be looking here, then what I would do is put this information right there and visually encode it, right? So what I would probably do is I would draw some kind of a shape which looks like that outline, right? I don't know, maybe I'll draw it regular, or maybe I would make it irregular, because most of them are irregular. And then I'll put these words right there, right next to it. So again, so imagine it's going to be basically an element here. That way, if somebody's reading this, they're going to see, okay, I get it. And right there, right? So again, we either scan right to left or top to bottom. In this case, the legend is going top to bottom. So as they're scanning, they cannot, and again, we're going to put it really close. We're not going to put it here because again, white space acts as a barrier. It acts as a red rope. So we're gonna keep it right here with very minimal white space so that they keep scanning. They can't help themselves. Your eyes automatically going to go from here to and it's going to say counties above MI radar outline, and you're like, got it, bingo, right? So that's the only change I would do it for this one. County above MI rate. State average. Oh, interesting. 23.5. So 23.5. I think maybe there's more that can be done here. For example, like if state average is 23.5, then why have a bucket which spans that range, right? Why don't we stop the bucket at 23.5? So we go, and these ones are irregular anyway, like this one is 5 units, and this one is 4 units, and this one is 4 units, and then this is 26 plus, right? So 5, 4, 4. But what if we did like 23.5 to 26, and then 26 and beyond, if that's egregious? And then what we could do is we could color those. So let's try it. So I'm saying we do categories 23.5 to 26, and maybe have that be a shade of red, let's say, and 26 plus, and that have that be a darker shade of red. I'm assuming that higher numbers are worse, right? So again, that's what I've interpreted this data as. Of course, if higher numbers are better, then maybe you want these to be a shade of green. And then, what happened? And then I will do something like I don't know, whatever, 18 to 23.5, and then kind of 13 to 80, something like that. So maybe and that way, and then have this be like a shade of gray, and this one can be a shade of red, something like that. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm not I don't know the data set. I'm just suggesting that could be a possibility. All right, man, that was good. All right, Ghada, hopefully you found that helpful. If you watched the replay. Yeah, I think I'm going to ask next time that people do join live. I think that's going to be more fun, because hopefully they can kind of guide me as well, because sometimes I go off on a tangent and I'm like, because I make the wrong assumptions. I mean, obviously I don't know that, so yeah. So anyway, all right, folks, how are we doing? Boy, it's past noon. Shall we keep going? I say yes. All right. Okay. But we might do these ones quick. One of them is an Excel file, so I'm not sure how this is gonna work. Jose, let's do in the order that is presented here. So Jose, Lobo, and again, sorry guys, we're gonna do a little bit quick now. So let's do what is the time? 12:10. Jose, we're gonna bunch all of these together now. Okay. All right, rapid fire style. First impression. The red color looks too garish. Is it multi-page, single page? So yeah, the color looks a little too garish. Muted colors work best. So that's first impression. I'm not gonna write these down. What next do? I do squint test. A squint test. Oh, it's hard to ignore this graph. So certainly that's the focus. But it's in a weird spot. If you look at the layout, the details should come later. The high-level data should come first. Where is the high-level data? It seems, I would guess that high-level data is here and it's sitting down at the bottom. I would move the high-level data here, then have the graph, and then have the details last. So I would do that, and then this is a selection. Maybe that can stay there. Maybe that can go on the side. All right, so yeah, mute the colors, da-da-da. Otherwise, looks good, mate. That's a great start. Your report has good bones, what I say. It's got the high-level data. It's got the trend. Oh my God. Cardinal sin. So, folks, there are some things you shall not do. Thou shall not do that. One of those was the line graph. Where were we talking about this? Not in money blocks, but I think we were talking about it in not in this one, the PBIX file. Can change lower axis for line chart, but not for a column chart. Now you guys are the expert. Now you know this. Thou shall not do this. Shall not do this. Okay? There's another rule. Oh God. You cannot use a line chart for categorical data. It has to be essentially numeric data. So let's come here. Actually, the words are something different. I'll have to look up my course. They're in the course. If you're in the PowerBIPro course, then use those words. Those are better. I have great words, guys. Okay, so so this one we're gonna say not good. Cannot use line chart with okay, well, yeah, let's do that. Must not, cannot, whatever. Yeah, something like that. Must not, yeah, must not would have been better. But hey, I already took a screenshot. So it stands. This is still Jose. So Jose Lobo cannot use. So the thing is, you can only use kind of for the axis, line chart axis, basically, which was showing a trend. That's what it's showing, a trend. And you can't show a trend from like one person to the next, like Lele to Francisco to JP Alves, Raul Paulo. There is no trend, right? I mean, imagine if you showed like trends of sale for product by color, right? I mean, red had these many sales, blue had no. I mean, there's no trend, right? So the axis has to be something which is basically. I'll look up the word for it. You know what? Actually, you guys, give me a moment, and I'll be super quick. It's gonna be good. You're gonna like it because I'm gonna give you the right words. So we go to Learn Power BI. Hey, by the way, welcome to the tour of our course, Learn Power BI. Thank you. Good to have you here. So we start off with, you all have seen the Power BI tutorial on my channel. That's 1 hour long, 60 minutes. This one is an expanded version of the same. Here I'm not in a rush, so I can take my time, go a little bit deeper, explain it. So that this one is about two plus hours. The whole course is pretty compact. It's, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 hours, something like that. Because it focuses on the 20% core concepts that give you the 80% of the results. And if you haven't experienced it already, you probably have, is that it's the hardest to get. The 20% of the core concepts, guys, if you ask me, it's really, really hard to learn that through the jigsaw puzzle of YouTube and Google. Now, I'm a YouTuber, but if you try to piece it together, it's really hard because you find bits and pieces, and you're trying to put that jigsaw puzzle together. You don't even have all the pieces. It's really frustrating. And that's why I meet people all the time who've been around Power BI, been doing Power BI for years, but they don't feel comfortable. And I hear things like, I feel like I'm on thin ice. I write a measure, then I cross my fingers, hope it works. If something doesn't work, I just try to put a calculator around it. Or if sum doesn't work, I try to use a SumX, right? So just they just cross the fingers, right? And they say, oh, I try to step into this stuff, but the waters run swift and deep. I've heard so many variations of this. And the classic one, which is a red flag. If you find yourself saying, oh, this was so much easier in Excel, you're struggling and you missed a turn. You missed the core concepts. You've never mastered them. And if you never master them, then you're forever going to struggle in Power BI because it's slightly different than learning other tools. Excel and SQL, you can learn it in bits and pieces. You can look over somebody's shoulder, watch them do VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, or match an index, and hey, now you know it. Now you have a trick up your sleeve. Power BI does not work that way. If you don't master the core concepts, you're forever doomed, my friend. Sorry, that's the hard truth. So it's best to get the core concepts be pushed to you, for somebody to just give it to you, teach it to you in a course, right? And then you can pull everything else, right? So I said for core concepts, learning by Google and YouTube is bad. But you saw me earlier in the call. Lookup value, I don't remember last time I used it, but I pulled it to me. You see this push versus pull dynamic? The core concepts, you want it to be pushed to you. Because if you keep pulling that stuff, it's insane. It's going to drive you mad and you're not going to get the results. But once you master that, it's really easy to pull the rest of the stuff. All right, so that's my spiel on that. So go get some help, my friends, right? So, all right. So it focuses on the zero to dashboard, and then we dive deep into each of the core topics. Query editor, relationships, DAX visuals. So for visuals, let's see if I can find that. Where do I go? Line charts, stack, drill down, custom, color. Where is it? Line versus column, line. Oh gosh. Yes. So the words, and I have good words, folks. Line chart need an interval axis. Those are the right words. You cannot use it with a nominal or ordinal axis. You know what? Forget these words because I don't remember them. Essentially, I think of it as, is this numeric or not? Basically, does it have an ascending order or not? Now, the classic use of line charts is with dates. But if you think about it, dates are numbers, and they definitely have an ascending order. January 2nd is greater than January 1, right? So you get the point, right? February comes after January. So they have an ascending order, and that is why it is okay to use line charts with dates. But otherwise, if they don't have an order, like, is it an order in names? And again, the fact they had more sales doesn't matter, right? Just take them apart. Like, if you just put the names out there, nothing else, no graph, no chart, nothing. If you put January, February, March, April, you notice how there is still an order, right? They're ordered. But if you put names out there, man, the best you can do is alphabetical order, but that doesn't work. It has to be like a numeric order. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So yeah, line chart. It's tempting. I know it is. It's tempting to use this combo chart, but guys, you just can't use it. And again, this is one of those things which is kind of like the line chart axis cannot use with categorical values. This is one of those things where if you ask me why, I kind of know it, but I can't explain it. Right? So if you think you can explain it to me, that would be great. I would love that. I mean, I would then know how to explain it to others. So the explanation that I would give is because Stephen Few said so, and that's good enough for me, right? So that's what I would say. So again, I mean, you cannot change lower axis because Stephen Few said so. I cannot use the line chart axis with something that is kind of categorical, not numeric, because Stephen Few said so. So boy, I mean, this took longer, but yeah, that was like a, yeah, I mean, that certainly caught my eye. So let's move on. You know what? Let's timestamp it. What is the 12:21? Because we spent like 12. Okay, so is it Lobo? Okay, we got that, and then. What is it? 12:21. My. And okay, so what does my have? Okay, JPG. Okay, that's gonna be a quick one. So, folks, when you blurt it out, don't blurt out everything. So, by the way, of course, the first question that I get from people is that, so when I say, the whole spiel that I said about don't just do good work, tell great stories about your work, right? If a tree falls in the forest and it doesn't make a sound, who knows, who cares, right? So if you do good work but nobody knows about it, then who knows, who cares? It doesn't matter. Might as well not do it, guys. That's the truth. I mean, that's the truth of the age, right? So I was at Microsoft and I saw people who were there for 20, 25 years and then they were laid off just like that, right? So if you want to be one of those people who's then good for you, I mean, if that works for you. I don't want that. I don't want that reality for myself. Now, of course, I run my own business, but I don't want that reality for my students as well, students or followers. I want you to be the champion, right, of your destiny. I want you to be your own CEO and, man, be able to create a life by design, not a life by accident. For the most part of my life, I lived a life by accident. One thing happened after the next, and my dad said enroll in this course and that and all of that sort of stuff. For my peers, everybody was going for computer science, so I did that, and then this happened and that happened, and it was a life by accident. It wasn't a life by design. I mean, reorg happened. This create a life by design, right? So take control of that. Whether you're an employee or you're a consultant or you're a bit of both, right? I mean, you're an employee consulting on the side, but take control of that. All right, so cool. So okay, I've forgotten my chain of thoughts there. So what I tell people is that the one way to take control is to start telling your story, the story of your work and your story. So here, when I talk to people about starting the story, the first kind of thing that I hear is, "Oh, Avi, I work with like healthcare data. It's very sensitive. I can't show it." And if that's the thought that comes to you, then let me ask you: is there anybody in your industry who has ever? So you're saying you're in healthcare, very sensitive data. I get it, but is there anybody who's in healthcare who has shown their work? Who has blogged about it, stepped up on a pedestal in a conference and talked about it? Yeah. Thousands. Millions. Who's made a video about it? Yeah, right. So there are millions of people. And the ones who are best known, guess what? They are best known. They're the top. Who do you consider a leader in your industry? Right? Who do you look up to? Inevitably, these are going to be the people who do that on a consistent basis. What more proof do you need? Right? These are the guys who write books. They're telling stories of their work. That's what you do when you write a book, or you kind of present in a conference, a virtual conference, or you write a blog, or you make a video. They're telling stories of their work. It has been done. There are lots and lots of people who are doing it. And again, see that as an example. If they can do it, so can you. Figure it out. And of course, one of the easiest ways is you take something, and so we do have a video here, by the way, which shows you how to blur selected portions. So I think Mai got a little carried away here, so she blurred everything, which makes our job kind of hard. But yeah, so how to blur, remove, just watch that, and it just walks you step by step. It's really super easy, right? And that's how you start getting to tell your story. Do good work, tell great stories. Do good work, tell great stories. I'm never going to get tired of saying that, my friends. Okay, so now that it's blurred out, well, what can we see? Well, this looks like a title. Oh, I don't think that's too much space for a title. And this one looks like a date. It's not even a number. At the top, I would love to see some high-level numbers. And then we have a breakdown, which is good. We have a breakdown again in pie chart. Not good, because pie charts are not a very effective visualization tool. Especially, this has the same problem that we saw earlier. It has way too many categories. If you're going to use this, then lump them into other, because at this point it is useless. So, and I would really say just try it with a column chart. I know. And, so if this is bad, then of course you can see this one is much, much worse. Just make it a column chart. That one, at least. That one has to be a column chart, and you probably still would need to group some things in other, because, it's just too detailed. Or go one higher level up. So if you're showing something by product SKU, well, go one higher level up. Product category, subcategory, something. If you're showing by city, then go by state or something like that, right? So don't show that much detail, because again, it's not useful. Again, pie chart, I'm not a fan, but that one at least looks better than that. Column chart, love it. Green, red, I assume that's intentional. That's good. Going to indicate them when things are, good or bad. And then this looks some kind of breakdown. So overall, kind of good bones. I like that. There's a lot of breakdown and all that stuff. But maybe start with the high-level numbers and then kind of do the breakdown and go from there. All right. Hey. A last one of the day. Unless somebody submitted it while we were talking. So guys, probably we're going to get to it next week. So let's do it here. What is it? 1227. I feel like I know you, my friend. I feel like, I don't know, maybe you're a student in my program? Seems really familiar. Oh, it's an Excel file. I'm actually afraid. I was like, whoa, what is that? Oh, that's Juan stuff. Okay, it's opening. Oh. Interesting. Well, so Excel does what Excel does. This looks like kind of a pivot table. I wouldn't call it a dashboard. So, yeah, I think there's not much to see here. So, yeah, I can't comment on it at all. That was not the note I wanted to end things on. Well, folks, that is it. So, hey, keep powering on. Yeah, so we are running 2 sessions every month now. And you can stay up to date by staying subscribed to us over email, which a lot of you are, which is great. Sometimes our emails end up in spam. If that's happening, make sure to move that to inbox, let Gmail or whatever know, add media contacts, whatever. But if you go to my channel and then right up the top, you can see, and I think the next one, so it's not labeled, we'll go back and fix it. I think the next one is Q&A, and I'll talk about that in a second. We do have something exciting coming up, the Real Power BI project presentations. And we talked about that earlier, where we did this whole project where we brought businesses and connected them with our Pro Plus members. I think it's a win-win. Obviously, Pro Plus members are on a journey to become successful Power BI consultants, so they're looking to sink their teeth into this stuff, and these are businesses who are happy to get some free help for their projects. So that's what Real Power BI is about. And so all the businesses had submitted their projects. We selected some projects, matched them to the Pro Plus members, and they're going to be working on it for about a month, and then come to our channel and present their awesome work. You can go back and watch some of the earlier presentations. I really had fun watching from that. There's always a lot you can learn by their stories of the work. That's what they are, right? Do good work, tell great stories. So, and of course, not just about dashboard, but the things that they say that, oh, this worked with the client, this didn't. We got stuck here. We butted heads about this, or something like that, right? So there's always some insight about this Power BI consulting or working on a project. So, of course, these guys are on the path to become a consultant, but a lot of lessons they share, you can apply it even if you are an employee, because, again, the real difference is that for an employee, your clients are internal to your company, and for a consultant, the clients are external to the company. I mean, but otherwise, it's a lot of the same things. And I often say that if you're doing great work for your company, then obviously you probably already realized by now that you can do the same for other companies as well. And so, right, so if you're doing great work for your own company, well, you can turn around and start doing that good work for other companies, and that's how you can transition slowly over time as a consultant. And a lot of these people are taking the journey that way. So that's coming, kind of coming up later. But coming back here, so that's a special event, but otherwise, Dashboard Makeover, we do this once every month. And again, it's a dashboard showcase and makeover. Our main goal is to give you a platform where you can start on your journey of telling the story of your work. And I think that's the one thing that most people do not do, which really holds them back in their career. And if you start doing that, this one thing can make the biggest difference in your career. That's, well, I mean, and hey, I'm living proof of that, right? So struggled for so many years in corporate America, not really going anywhere. And and again, the classic things that, hey man, I had like a master's in computer science, right? So, which sounds great, but again, my education, I think, hindered me more, held me back, and then helped me. It just, because I was good at school and I kept doing the same things at work, and it kind of didn't work. Because the rules are different. The game is different. It's played differently. So you think it's like the talent or education. Well, I would say I had both because I did good in school. So I would say I was good there. And of course I worked hard, but I wasn't kind of getting anywhere because, again, the game is different. You can't just do good work. You can do good work all your life and be laid off in 20 years into the company, right? Which I saw all the time in Microsoft. Or you can do good work, tell great stories, and become this awesome superstar in your field where you're sought out. If you're an employee, people want to hire you, and if you're a consultant, they're knocking your door down trying to be your client, right? So you want to give a platform where you get started on that journey of getting used to telling your story. Make it really, really simple. Just take your dashboard, blur out and we have a full video talking about step by step how you can blur out only the sensitive segments and not the whole dashboard, right? And you can do that. So that's our platform. We're going to do it once every month. I would love to see you guys back. And the other thing that we do is talk Power BI Q&A, which is also once a month, where we take your questions, and that one is actually kind of cool. We're really loving it because we built this, so these two basically are surveys, so when you pre-submit a question, that's going to a survey, but I kind of feel proud that I built some back-end automation. It was really simple, actually, where once you fill out the survey, it sends us to this Trello board where we can use, and this Trello board is public. Anybody, you can go in and just click on this link and access the Trello board to see the questions submitted. And we do have to do some cleanup because basically some of these were like, these were February 28th, and we want to start a blank slate for the next Q&A call, which I think is next week. But yeah, so you can submit your question, and you can go on there, and you can look at all of the questions, and then we're going to come in, and we're going to start on the Q&A call. We're going to just, go through that, and, pick one, and I'll say, oh, now I'm answering that one, and then I'll go through that. And if you notice here, we also kind of timestamp it, and we say, oh, 9:21, this question was answered, 9:44. You do need to be there on the call, though, live. So, we got so many questions last time, so we're going to prioritize folks who are joining live. I wish I could answer all of them all the time, but yeah, I'll be here all day. All right, so I'll be seeing you on next Friday. I think that's a Q&A call. I'll go back and check. But yeah, guys, do good work. Tell great stories. Bye, my friends. See you next time.